All right.
Oh, everybody wants a big kangaroo. Mine is fat, but yours is blue. Sorry. Okay, anyways.
No, that's the beginning now.
Oh no.
I'm not joking. We're in it now. Hi, everybody.
It's been
Well,
silly songs Larry. I can't remember. I just remember something about a kangaroo.
welcome to the official Veggie Tales fan podcast.
Yes.
It's replacing all the usual stuff we did. That's why we had such a long hiatus.
Reforming to Veggie Tales.
All right, now,
Refarming. I see what you did there.
all right. Now that all the fake fans have left, it's the real Wildrose Arcade podcast, like always.
The
Yay.
real one.
Congratulations on sticking around. And it's our end of the year special where we choose our favorite games of both this year and years past. We do that as well. So the way this works is we're going to choose basically our two favorite games from years past that we played for the first time this year, and our two favorite games of 2021, and we're going to announce a winner. You know, it's like all those year-end things. You know how this works.
You get the drill.
Congratulations.
But first, as usual, we're going to start out with talking about the games that we've been playing. I'm going to sit this one out because all the games I've been playing are the ones I'm going to talk about in the episode.
Okay.
Rip.
Yeah. So let's spin this wheel I have now and see who's going to start.
Spoiler alert, it's a twister wheel.
Yeah. I love Twister.
All right, and Holly's the first one up.
Oh, hooray. I hate being the first one. What I've been playing lately. Well, I'll mention it because it's not one of my Game of the Year nominees, but the last few days I've been playing Tales of Arise, which did come out this year. I didn't include it in like my list because like I haven't gotten that far, so I didn't want to like be like, oh, it's like a Game of the Year nominee when I haven't really played more than a couple hours. I didn't think that was very appropriate. I mean, it's very good. I do quite like it. Like the combat's pretty fun. It's easy. Combat's easy. So like if you're if you're not in it for like just the story and I guess if you're just not in it for the story and you want a little bit more of a challenge, definitely recommend playing it on like more like the moderate or the hard mode, just because like my experience with like the Tales of series games is the combat is pretty simple, but like you can do a lot of creative things with it, stuff like that. So it's very customizable. But yeah, so far so good. I would highly recommend. And then what did I play earlier this year?
This is what you've been playing lately.
Yeah, I played The Last
Mario
Guardian.
Party.
I played Mario Party. We always play Mario Party. Played Mario Party lately. I like Mario Party. But then yeah, I played The Last Guardian on my PlayStation 5 because we just bought a bunch of games there a long time ago, and then I was sitting down and I was like, I want to play something, and decided to play that, and it's fun. I liked it. It's good. I think I didn't play it for a really long time, because when it first came out, I think it was a PlayStation 4 almost launch title. It was pretty close to like when the PlayStation 4 launched. And I still lived with my sisters at the time, and my sister was really wanting to play that game. Like she had been following the game through its development, and she's like, I want to play this game. So of course when it came out, she bought it. And I remember sitting with her and like pretty much watched her play through the entire thing. And so like I feel like I kind of experienced it with her. So I had no like inkling to play it on my own, I guess. And then I just decided one day, I was like, heck it, I'll play it. It was good. I like it. It's a good game. It's It's like it's from the same developers of that did Shadow of the Colossus. So it kind of has like those like climbing colossi physics with like the main creature Trico, because you can like climb on him and like sit on his back or his head or his tail. You can pretty much climb all over him if you really wanted to. But it's cute. I like that game. And then what else? What else did I play? I don't remember what else I played. I tried to play. Well, no, Tom tried to play. I was thinking about playing, but I didn't end up playing. Oh, I played. I tried to play Dragon Age, the first Dragon Age Origins, on PlayStation 3, but I didn't. I didn't get very far. I got stuck, and then I got mad, and then I just didn't play again because I got lost, and I was like, I don't know where to go. And then so I was just like, I'll just put that one away for a bit. So yeah, those are the ones that I've played lately.
All right, cool. Let's see who's up next on the wheel.
On the twist a wheel.
We got to record audio one day of like Wheel of Death.
Wheel of social anxiety.
Of crippling social anxiety.
Crippling social anxiety.
And every time someone talks while the wheel is going, they come up. So Tom, it's your turn now. It smells your
Okay.
fear.
Well, a couple weeks ago when Halo Infinite launched, I was playing it, and the kind of open world nature of that game made me, for some reason, well, because of its an open world nature, I suppose, really made me want to play Fallout 3 again. So I was playing it. I played it for a couple hours, and I realized it wasn't 100% scratching the itch because I wanted like a sci-fi experience. And then I remembered The Outer Worlds is a thing. And that was actually my game of the year in 2019.
Yes,
And
I've played that.
I started playing The Outer Worlds, and it's just such a fucking good game. I love that game. That's really beyond my nominations and stuff. That's really all I've been playing lately. I did start playing Tales of Arise the other day, but I'm only like an hour in or something, so I haven't really formed an opinion of that game one way or the other. And if you are curious about my Outer Worlds opinion, then go back and listen to our Game of the Year 2019 podcast, because that was my Game of the Year.
All right. So that just leaves Nathan then.
Oh boy, me. Well.
Oh golly gee.
I've been playing some Halo Infinite, so that's a thing. I've been playing 7 Days to Die, which is like, it's kind of like a zombie survival meets Minecraft. I kind of ignore most of the zombie bits though. I've been playing it with a lot of friends, and we're there usually like out looting and like shooting zombies and shit. I'm usually at home building random bullshit and like big homes. I'm just like, yes. While everybody is doing zombie things, I'm sitting here basically playing The Sims, but first person. I'll just like cook food, and then I'll just go like get some shit, harvest the garden. I don't know. It sounds very lame, but I find it peaceful, which is weird coming from a zombie game.
Where
But
you
I
run
don't-
around looting.
But I don't do the
Looting is
looting,
so
and I don't
peaceful.
I don't do the looting, and I don't do like a lot of the running around. I mostly just sit at home and I make stuff. And I build homes. Yeah, so scratch off the title 7 Days to Die. It's actually Nathan's home building simulator with dead people. What else have I been playing? I've been playing why did I forget the name? Hold on, I'm gonna go stare at Rob's chat because I had the name down on that. Outriders. I've been playing the new Super Smash because I finally have a
Super Smash.
Switch. I don't have any games aside from Super Smash on it because I want to get physical games, but I don't want to use Amazon.
Yeah.
And I haven't gone outside because it's fucking cold, and before it was fucking cold, I had school every day.
Yeah, it's like -30 here.
Yeah. Worse with wind chill.
Yeah.
30 Celsius.
So yeah, I've been kind of like sitting. I'm just like waking up. I've just been like, I want to go get the new. I know the Pokemon Brilliant Diamond, and there's a lot of things that's
Shining
irking
Pearl.
me about it. I don't even remember the other one because I never got Pearl. I only had Diamond. There's a lot of things that's like irking me about it, like the EXP share, but at the same time, like, but it was my favorite one. Like I have to get it just for like the memory. And like people were showing me that like your Pokemon follow you, and I'm just like, oh, you bitch, you bitch. So yeah, I'm going to get it. The XP share is going to drive me absolutely insane, but maybe I'll just catch like 30 Pokemon and spread it out throughout the entire time I'm going through it. Fuck it. What else have I been playing? Some Stars Emperor at War, Forces of Corruption, but that's like my usual, and I've been playing that since I was like the age of like 12.
I've stopped putting anything in the podcasts relating to that game because you bring it up every single time.
It's a good game, and the modding community is great. I've been playing Legendary Tales, which is it's still very early access, and it's a VR like dungeon crawler. It's kind of like Diablo, but VR.
Cool.
Yeah, it's still super early access though. They've only got like 2 enemies, and they've just finished like the skill tree. And in the recent update, they were supposed to add new enemies, but hey, their lead art designer apparently had an emergency surgery and could not finish the monsters in time for this release. So there was like, we're super sorry, but we'll do it next time. I'm like, hey, if this poor person had an emergency surgery and yet still finished the shit that you were doing, props to you.
Yeah.
Whoever you are, like, fucking rest. We'll wait for your cool necromancer spellcaster enemy dude another time. I'll just keep on stabbing skeletons and goblins. But oh, that game is so fun. Like, even though it's so early access and it is there is not a lot of, like, I guess content wise, like not really content, variety, I guess is a better way. It is still such a blast because the gameplay is like whatever they did, they nailed gameplay. It is so fucking fun. I don't care how many times I run through those dungeons. Like every time I'm just like, I'll go dancing in with a great sword and just be fucking like banging out to music while beheading skeletons and not giving two shits. It is a great time. God, what else have I been playing? Hot Dogs, Exploration, Hand Grenades, but that's another usual one. And that's because the guy who does it, it's just a labor of love, and you can tell that it is just written all throughout the game.
Yeah.
That
was on my bingo card for what you were gonna say.
It's a
Bingo
good fucking
card.
game!
I mean, clearly.
We have bingo cards.
It's a good game! I want a bingo card. Yay, I have a bingo card now. I'm happy. Anything else? I feel like I am forgetting one game that is actually like a weird game I recently started playing. One second, my brain is loading. Tom put in like a little like loading symbol on
slipping into Alzheimer's.
I see the loading symbol. Oh, No Man's Sky.
Oh.
It wasn't even, I didn't even buy it. I got it as a gift. And so I was just like, oh, you should check this out. I'm like, all right. Because like, after all the fucking problems No Man's Sky went through, I was like, I don't want to fucking buy this. But they were like, play it. I was like, all right, well, fuck it, I'll play it.
Yeah, I've actually heard that it's better than, obviously it's launched really shitty, but I've heard that it's actually really good now because they've kind of it's in the state in where it should have.
It should have been, yeah.
Yeah.
Like now, I feel like this is where they should have launched. It's a fun game. Yet again, I mostly run around and I build real estate because that's what I do. 7 Days to Die, No Man's Sky. I'm just building houses in butt-fuck corners of wherever the hell I can get my little buildy hands on. If there's a spot that's random and I can get my nail gun to it, oh, you bet I'm building some shit there. But yeah, like I was not expecting a lot going into the game because of all the like shit that it was when it
Mystery.
released. But playing it, like this really feels like where it should have launched. And now that it's here, I'm actually interested to see where they expand on it. I haven't played it in the last month, but it's one of those games that I thought should be highlighted because I have actually played a lot of it and I have enjoyed it,
Mm-hmm.
which I was not expecting. When I got gifted that, I'm just like, oh, this. Okay.
All right.
All right. So yeah, that's what I've been playing.
Nice.
All right, cool. So yeah, now that we're all caught up on that, we'll get to the awards. So we'll start with the non-2021 games that we played for the first time this year. These will be our runners up. We'll get to the actual winners later. So who's gonna talk about their second place first? Oh,
Roll
and
the
it's
death
Tom.
wheel. Oh.
Yay! The death wheel
wheel
has spoken.
Yeah, hadn't quite finished when he started.
Okay, so my runner-up for my non-2021 game of the year, basically the to qualify for this category, I think it has to be a game that you've played for the first time this year but didn't release this year. And for
Right.
those of us that don't buy games on launch day very often anymore, this makes it a lot easier to talk about something. So my runner-up for Game of the Year for non-2020 is Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic.
Kotor.
Yeah, KOTOR. You'd think that'd be a game that I would have played, back in like 2004 or whatever year it was when that released, because it's a BioWare RPG and it's Star Wars, and I love Dragon Age and Mass Effect and even Neverwinter Nights, and you'd think I would have played this, but I haven't. So it came to Switch this year in November, and I picked it up and really, really enjoyed it all the way through. It has some 2004 time period sort of clunkiness to it that when you play retro games the way I do, you get used to them and you just kind of overlook some of it because it's a lot of the times the problems were kind of just industry standard at the time. So it has a little bit of jank. It has a little bit of jank to it, but overall the experience was really good. And I've played a bunch of the company that ported it to the Switch is a company called Aspire, and I've played a lot of their Star Wars ports to Switch over the years now. And they're always phenomenal ports where the frame rate's consistent, the visuals are good, they redo the UI to work with different aspect ratios and what have you that the games weren't originally designed to work for, and they're always fantastic ports that are surpass the original game. And now they are finally getting a shot at working on a game that isn't a port, where they're actually making the Knights of the Old Republic remake from Disney and Lucasfilm Games. So I'm very curious to see how that goes for them, and I wish them all the best, and I'm very excited to see more of that in the coming years. But I played KOTOR for the first time this year and had a blast with it. The RPG mechanics that you'd expect from a BioWare game are all there. The multiple planets. If you've played Mass Effect, you kind of know how BioWare executes their sci-fi stuff, and this is very similar to that. Being able to be a Sith or a Jedi, or just say fuck it and not be either if you don't want to be, and you can just be a fucking smuggler with your pistol and what have you. I think it's a very unique take on how to do a Star Wars game, but it gives you a lot of freedom that they don't normally do. I would like to see the KOTOR remake do something along the lines of when you use a gun, it behaves more like Mass Effect. When you use a lightsaber, it behaves like Jedi Fallen Order or something of that nature. And I don't think there's ever been a game, to my knowledge, that goes that far with it. It's always good at one of the things it does, never all of them. But I really enjoyed KOTOR, so it's my runner-up for my non-2021 game.
All right. Yeah, it is nice having. So there's at least a couple studios now that just absolutely nail every Switch port they do.
Yeah.
All right. So
Did you just have the one game, or?
No, we're talking about our runners-up first, and then it'll be our game of the year for the category.
yeah. So back to the wheel we go.
Yay.
Oh, and it's me this time. Alright. So my runner-up for a non-2021 game is Ollie Ollie, which I mean, it's one of the like bigger indie games of the last few years. So, but if anyone doesn't know what it is, basically it's a side-scrolling skateboarding game. And I'd been like sort of vaguely. I mean, I was aware of it for a while. I was kind of interested in it on like the 3DS, but for some reason, the idea of like a side-scrolling skateboarding game just didn't really sound like my thing. I thought it sounded kind of limiting. But this year, it was on sale for like $4 or something on the Switch eShop, and I had like $4 or $5 of like credit in the gold points. So I figured, might as well try it out. And it turns out, yeah, I really like it. The weird thing is, like, it's well documented on here, but for a long time, I've been wanting like a snowboarding game or something on the Switch, mostly to like scratch that sort of 1080 itch. And this actually does a pretty good job. I mean, obviously it's skateboarding, not snowboarding, but it basically emulates slope style, which is an event that I actually really enjoy watching. And also just sort of like the general gameplay loop of, okay, well, here's a course, try to hit these goals, and work with all the sort of obstacles in your way to pull off these tricks. Yeah, it controls really well. It's really satisfying to pull off all these tricks. And also, it does two of my favorite things when you screw up. Sometimes it gives you a really long animation of you falling down this hill, and that's very funny to me.
I love those.
And it also gives you the option to press one button and get right back to the top of the hill, instead of screwing around and asking, oh, do you want to skip this event or make it a little easier? I'm looking at you, SSX.
I was about to say, I think you're taking a shot at SSX.
Yeah, I mean, I just like I went into it not quite knowing what I was going to think of it, and yeah, it's become really addictive. 'Cause it's one of those games you can play in such short bursts, and it's so easy to decide, oh man, I was so close to the high score there, just one more run, and then just one more run, and then one more run. Oh, I missed the spray can, one more run. So yeah, and it's got me really excited for a game that we'll be talking about later. That's my runner-up.
Nice.
Now, what does the wheel decide?
The wheel decides our fate.
Oh my god. Molly, you're up.
Me?
Wow.
It heard you.
Oh no, it was listening to me. It knows. It knows. So yeah, I struggled a little bit with this category just because I think most of the games I played this year came out this year. And then the ones that I didn't, the ones that didn't come out this year, I was just unsure whether or not that was Game of the Year material. So, so my runner-up for the best non-2021 game I played this year, is Astro's Playroom.
Oh.
It is technically a tech demo for the PlayStation 5. But for a tech demo, it is adorable. It's fun and it has so much charm to it. And like, if you're a PlayStation fan, it's like full of little Easter eggs and things like that. But yeah, for a tech demo, they made it like very engaging, really fun. There was a lot of creative ideas in there. The game is kind of styled in a way where you're like going inside the hardware of the PS5 and then exploring levels that way. And I just thought it was really cute, and they didn't have to go that far into just making a tech demo, but they did, and I just thought it was really good. And so I decided that was my non-2021 runner-up, because it surprised me when I played it, because I just played it on a whim, but I actually really liked it as like a solid game on its own, because it's like, if it's like a really good platformer. And like I said, I grew up on like the PlayStation, like PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2 and onward, and it has a lot of those little like tugging at nostalgia for PlayStation fans and stuff like that, which I thought was cute. So yeah.
All right. Yeah, I remember that one actually getting like a surprising amount of buzz last year when the PS5 came out.
Yeah. It's just cute and fun. Like, that's the best I can say about it. But like, for those who have a PS5, it's free with the PS5. So if you
All
haven't
6
played
of
it,
you.
definitely play it. Yeah, all 6 of you, looking at you, right there in the middle, right there. If your PlayStation 5, it comes with this game. So if you haven't played it, just play it, because it's cute and fun, and you'll enjoy it.
Yeah, I honestly I wish more consoles did that, like just ship with a game.
Yeah.
Like it got the PS5 some early attention. That
Yeah.
worked out great for the Wii when they did that with Wii Sports.
Yeah,
Oh,
no
Wii
kidding.
Sports
That's like the world's best tech demo.
Yeah, that was
Fun.
like the Wii
Jeez.
game for the general
Yeah.
public.
Oh yeah, like everyone, like if they had it, like people
Everyone
would own a
fucking knew
Wii
about
and
it.
own nothing else other than Wii Sports
Yeah.
It's so good.
or yoga.
Wii Sports Resort, though, not a lot of people played that one comparatively to like just like Wii Sports, but I really love Wii
Yeah.
Sports.
The Wii Sports was much
Resort.
more popular.
Yeah. Yeah, Resort was really good. I really like that one. So yeah, on that note, Nathan, what's your first runner up?
All right, I'm supposed to go now. All right. So my runner-up is Darkest Dungeon. Boy howdy, what can I say about Darkest Dungeon?
Boy howdy!
Except that when I first started up the game, everybody was just like, "Oh yeah, this game is really hard," and I'm like, I am a fucking turtle. Like, there's so many like strategy games that people are just like, "Oh yeah, this game's hard." Like, you should well, I played it and it beat my ass. I'm just like, I sit in a corner, and even if my income is low, I'll wait
And I
until I
build
get
a
a million,
house.
and I'll build a house. And by the time I move, I'm a god. And this game kicked my ass, and that actually interested me because I'm just like, I sat in my corner, and everyone died. And it wasn't like a bullshit time thing. It was literally just attrition. And I was like, okay, this has my interest. Well, I haven't beat it yet, but I have subjugated it. I have found the point of critical mass. And can I say, Darkest Dungeon, you're a fucking good game. I love you. That was fun. I may one day beat you and take you out of this misery, but I'm just going to let you struggle a little longer.
I think you and Rob need to double date with Darkest Dungeon and Baroque.
Oh my god, yes, let's do it. I'll play Baroque, you play Darkest Dungeon, and we'll laugh at each other's pain.
And this whole channel eventually is just going to be you and I getting everyone to try like the hardest, most brutal roguelikes we know.
I know, right?
Great. Some 5-year-old to play NetHack with us.
Yes.
All right, so moving on to current games. These are our runners-up for Game of the Year 2021. So we'll spin the wheel again. So if anyone wants to say something, and too late.
All right.
All right. So Holly, guess your
It had
22
the giggle. No.
The giggles, you have been chosen.
Fuck. God dang it, Jesus. Runner up
God
for
damn you, Jesus. Sorry.
2021 Game of the Year.
Yeah.
My runner up is Monster Hunter Rise.
Dun dun.
Dun dun dun. Who suspected this? Everybody. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. No, I probably have clocked the most amount of game hours with Rise. Just because it demands it. uh and yeah, like I've never been a big Monster Hunter fan. I played World, and that was kind of my introduction into like Monster Hunter games and stuff like that. And then I played the first Monster Hunter stories as well too. But yeah, no, I really like how Rise plays. Like I really like the combat's really fun. All the monsters are super cool, and I like the art style of the game. I remember when I first saw trailers for it. It gave me nostalgia in a weird way. Like it just reminded me of a different game that I used to play growing up, and I was like kind of wanting to play Rise just to see if I could like experience that nostalgia with a different game, because this is a much more superior game than the other game. But that's what kind of attracted me to it. But yeah, no, it's like I've had lots of fun. I've played it the most game out of all of the games this year. And Capcom gave me something that I didn't ask for, and that was an Amaterasu skin for my Palamute. So I had a happy cry about that, and so that's why it's my favorite game. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, no, I really like the buddy system, like the Palamutes. I thought that was really, really cool. That was something I was excited for going into the game. And yeah, I mean, that's kind of all I have to say about it. It's really fun. I like that I can play with my friends because I've played some of it with you guys. And I like hunting monsters more so online. I like doing solo hunts, of course, but redoing hunts, in my opinion, is much better when I'm doing it with a group of people, because it's more chaotic and more fun that way.
Yay, chaos.
All right. So in that case, instead of the wheel, I'm going to jump in here because Monster Hunter Rise is my runner-up too.
Hey! Quitting!
So yeah, it sounds like I had a pretty similar level of experience with the series to you. So I played a decent bit of Monster Hunter 3 on the 3DS. Never really got all that far, but I did enjoy it. And yeah, something about like all the trailers I saw for this one just really intrigued me. I did wait a few months to get it just because I didn't really like that it shipped with a lot of content missing, but whatever. Games do that now.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and there's just like something about these games. I think because they're basically all boss battles. You know, like there are some missions where it's, go kill, 10 of whatever monster or collect these 6 items, but like for the most part it's just sort of the best part of every, pretty much every action game just condensed together. It's just boss after boss after boss, which I really love. And this one, like, how they added so much. Like, they made traversal so much more interesting than it was before. Like, I've never played a Monster Hunter game just to sort of explore the world and see, where I can climb, where this cave goes, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, I think that's really added to the experience. And then, yeah, like you said, it's just, like, it's a lot of fun to go on these, like, big chaotic hunts with your friends. You know, it definitely helps that they severely upgraded the hunting horn.
Yeah.
I really love, I love using that weapon, and it's like I'm kind of surprised that they haven't actually nerfed it, because from what I've seen, it is super overpowered now, which is why I love it so much. But yeah, I mean I think that's kind of all the main points I had for Monster Hunter. Rise is just, I think, the best game in the series so far, based on my experience with the other game in the series I've played.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah.
All right, so let's
Spin
see
that
who's going
wheel.
next.
And it's chosen me, so I can talk now. Just kidding.
All right, so next up is Nathan.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh boy. So this is the current year runner-up? Just remembering? Yes. Okay. So for me, it was Halo Infinite. Yay!
Wow, you sounded so excited.
Damn,
Oh
that
my
must
god,
be a
my
good
voice
thing.
cracked through all of that.
So I have for a very long time been wanting a Halo game that feels like a Halo game. Because Halo 5 really caused me to just drop it. Halo 5 came out, I was like, and I'm done. But I've always still missed Halo for being just like the gameplay and how it felt. And Halo Infinite, and Tom, I remember because we talked about it a lot, we were both very on edge because we're just like, okay, it sounds like they're doing stuff we really like, but looking at the AAA industry on the modern day, fuck. And then it came out, and I was like, oh hell yes, I really love the gameplay, and I am so into this again. It feels good. I like how it plays. I like how the movement is. Everything that they added, I really feel like it actually like fits well into like the game loop, and it dropped the whole like COD and Titanfall kind of feely stuff, and it went right back to Halo. I'm just like, I love this. This is amazing. Sprint is no longer like super OP. You get teeny little speed boost, but it's basically negligible unless you're traveling. And it just makes me so happy. And yeah, I love it. I haven't finished the campaign yet because I have started just doing everything, and that takes a while.
Everything does.
I am exploring
quite
every
some time.
fucking rock of this installation, and nobody can tell me otherwise. So yeah, it's really fun, and I love it. And the only reason it didn't get my top spot for this year is actually just because they need to sort their fucking microtransactions out, because that stuff is bullshit. Game-wise, so good. But you really lost it on the microtransaction part. I know that they said that they're going to lower a whole lot of the prices after the holidays. But, that's after the holidays, and you're no longer a 2018 game. And hey, you already released, and this is your how you came out on this year. So fuck you. I'm judging you now.
Fuck you, second best game of the year.
Fuck you, second best game of the year.
Piece of shit.
I'm going to throw them a bone slightly on the microtransaction thing and say, technically speaking, the multiplayer is free to play now.
Yeah,
So-
there is that. I will. I have to get.
I can see.
It's just I'm still like, I hate microtransactions.
The problem
Yeah.
is we're old.
We are.
Yeah.
We
in
remember
the
the
eyes of
days.
gaming, we are old.
We remember the days where there was no such thing as microtransactions.
Where you bought a game and that was it.
Yeah. You bought your game.
There was no DLC. There was no downloadable content. There was no download the ending. It was just.
Yeah.
It was all there,
Fun.
and if it sucked, it sucked.
Can
There was
you
no fixing
do
it.
you remember, like, there was one thing when the industry during our time that I can actually like think that people were just like, holy fuck yes, was when they introduced, which was DLC and expansion packs. Because in
Yeah.
those cases, they fucking gave you content.
Yeah.
And I remember like my first time getting, I think it was like a Halo Reach DLC, like one of the multiplayer DLC things. Well, that with like a whole bunch of new maps and like stuff. And like Tom and I were sitting, oh, it was Halo 3, sorry. And we're just sitting there, we're just like, oh my god, we can do Forge on this map! What are those?
Yeah, like the age of like Mass Effect 2 size DLCs is gone. And nowadays it's like
That's a new
Take-
game.
take a 50-hour game and chop 25 or 30 hours out of it and sell it back to the player for more later.
Mm.
That's what DLC has kind of become.
Yeah.
I shouldn't
Yeah.
say become because it's been that way since like 20 fucking 12 or something, but
It's just
That's-
it now seems like it's more socially acceptable.
And
Yeah,
noticeable.
they've beaten the consumers into submission with it to the point that there's a whole generation of gamers that think that's just normal now.
Yeah.
I got into an argument with a person on social media once because they argued that it takes too much effort to unlock characters in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
Oh my god, if they got rid of that, I'd be
It
so
all-
pissed
Play
off.
the
Of all the
game.
games?
That's what you bought it for.
I know. I
Yeah.
have so much fun unlocking my characters. If they took that out, I'd be so pissed.
No, they
I
were
mean, like
they were
Ultimate,
angry.
you unlock one like every 3 matches.
They were
Yeah.
angry.
You
that they
really
couldn't-
do.
They were angry that they couldn't just go to the eShop and spend like $3 and have the character rather than
Oh
my
my god.
God,
Then rather
wow.
than play the game that you bought to play.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like I understand having a favorite character that you want to play right then and now.
Don't
Like
play
I
Solid
get
Snake.
that, but like the whole point of the fucking game is to play the fucking game.
And you never know. You might find a character you suddenly fall in love with because you suddenly use them.
Yeah, like shit. Like you just. Ugh, that's so weird. That's such a weird.
Like how I fell in love with Dragon Quest Hero because I bought a DLC and I was like, oh, I have to unlock everybody else, including like fucking all the Robin and all them. And I'm just like, my Hero looks fine.
Mm.
And then
And like
I
think of
love
a game
Hero.
like
Hero's
Super...
like my Buddha.
Yeah, like
That's
thinking
my
of a
thing.
game like Smash though, all the content is all of the characters. So if
Yeah.
you're not playing any of the characters and just honing in on one, you're missing all of this other content that you've paid for.
Mhm.
So why wouldn't you want to experiment with the different fighters and stuff like that while you work towards the ones that you want to get? Because that's what you paid for. But then
We're
you want
just
to
too
pay
old.
more money just to like get the one fighter that you want and then get bored of the game really quick because now you have what you want.
Yeah,
Like,
we're just too old.
We are just too old, I guess.
We're too old and we have
We're the
patience.
old ones.
We're too old and we have patience, which is
Patience.
Let's not go that far.
Yeah, yeah.
we have a vague scrap of patience. Something we call patience.
All right. So now that we're done ragging on the kids these days,
The kids these days.
This has been the old person segment. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening to my podcast. I'm here every Thursday.
all right. So now it's time for Tom's runner-up.
Oh yeah, that was mine.
Yeah.
I forgot.
So my runner-up is a game I told nobody I played. I
Uh-oh.
didn't tweet about. I didn't do anything, and I didn't do that intentionally because normally,
Which
if something-
annoyed me.
if something funny happens to me, well, perfect example. Earlier, I was saying I was playing Outer Worlds again. Some funny scenarios happen to me, so I screenshot it. I send it to Rob. Rob and I make some jokes. Blah blah blah. So I didn't do that with this game unintentionally. It just didn't happen. And after beating it and being so impressed with it, I realized I didn't tell a single soul. So I actually uninstalled it from the PS5 just so that
I
Holly
wouldn't
wouldn't even see it,
Oh my god.
so that
Super
I-
secret.
so that I could throw a curveball. So, does anybody have a guess what it could possibly be?
It's Galgun.
Nope.
Don't lie.
Oh,
Don't lie. We're gonna find out. It's
I
Galgun.
feel like it was the game I accidentally started playing when I was baby or cat sitting for you. So I was like, this is a weird game. Oh.
Nathan, you played Galgun too?
Maybe. All right, well, I have no fucking idea.
So it's a game that came out this year. I think it was August when it came out, but I played it in September. It's a game called Tormented Souls. And
Yeah, I did not see that one coming. Jesus.
it's an indie game, technically, made by a small studio, but I'm actually... I Googled it while you guys were talking just so I could make sure, and I'm actually not sure. There's 2 different developers credited for it. Dual Effect Games and... where did that go? And Abstract Digital. They're both credited as developers. I don't know if that means they worked together on it or if one of them ported it to a system or something. I'm not sure. So I just wanted to give both of them a bit of a shout out there. So Tormented Souls, I'm guessing, does anybody here know what it is?
No.
No
Never
idea.
heard of it.
No? Okay. So Tormented Souls is a retro-styled horror game in the same vein as the original Resident Evils.
I'm interested.
It has like a more modern control scheme. So it's, if you've ever seen gameplay footage of the first Resident Evil's remake on the GameCube.
Yeah, I saw Holly play through it.
Yeah, if you want to see footage, we've got a video on it. Go check it
Yeah,
out.
we do.
But she didn't play the remake. She played the original.
No, the original.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there was a remake of that game on the GameCube where it was the same game, the same story, same characters, but it had a modern control scheme. So instead of the tank controls, it had the joystick controls where you could just move in 360-degree axis and yada yada. So Tormented Souls is in that same vein. It's still like the top-down kind of isometric, but the camera angles change room to room camera perspective, where you go through the environment and solve puzzles just like in a Resident Evil game. And the control scheme, what impressed me was it caters to both audiences of people who want a joystick or people who wanted tank controls. Because how it works on, I played it on PlayStation 5. How it works is if you use the left joystick, you have 360-degree movement in whatever direction you push the joystick in. But if you touch the D-pad, the game has tank controls mapped to the D-pad, so you can choose to play it like the classic Resident Evil games, which I thought was really cool. So a big reason why this game is my runner-up, I enjoyed it thoroughly all the way through, and what shocks me is the graphics and quality of the environments, knowing that it's an indie game. I swear to you guys, if any of you have the option right now, you Google image Tormented Souls, and the graphics there really impressed me for an indie studio. This looks like a game.
Oh my god, that is good.
Yeah, that's really
Holy
impressive.
crap.
It looks like a game that could have come out as like a launch title on like PS3 or 360.
God, I'm so happy indies are like overtaking AAA.
So, but the game is really good. It's the puzzles are just hard enough. I actually had to bust out a notebook and write some stuff down because I had to like remember codes and details to solve a puzzle on the opposite end of the map, and by the time I could get over there and dodge all the enemies and be spooked, by the time I'd get there I wouldn't remember it, so I had to go back and forth and write shit down. And it's been such a long time since a game had me that enthralled with what was going on. The reason why it's not my game of the year, there's actually a couple really big reasons. One of them, because this game is an indie game, I suspect, despite its graphical quality, I suspect it had a very low budget. And the voice acting in this game is terrible.
Oh,
Oh no.
ouch.
The dialogue, the way it's written is terrible. So it's, I can't describe it because I would love to just quote a line, but it's escaping me right now and I can't think of it.
Wow, an enemy. Look at that.
Well, not quite. It's the actors are trying, but the lines are delivered and written in a way. So you have text boxes kind of like classic games do, but there's still voice acting. and it's just that the sentences run on way too long. It'd be like if in a good writing scenario, it'd be like, Rob, let's go to the 7-Eleven. And in this game, the way it's written is, Rob, let's go grab our car keys, get in the cars, go down the street, we'll turn left, turn right, and end up at the 7-Eleven where we'll get some Slurpees. So the voice actors are not only not very skilled, but the lines are very long-winded and very... I'm not sure what the word would be, but...
Drawn out.
Drawn out, yeah. They could easily be condensed. So I suspect that like 90% of this game's budget went to the game, which is how it should be. But I think that they maybe didn't have, the best writers or the best actors involved with the game. But at a certain point, I mean, I grew up in the late 90s and early 2000s watching anime dubs. I can deal with some bad acting.
I still love
4 kids.
I love Banjo Kazooie, and the only voice acting in that is.
And I mean, like, bad acting has been a part of horror games since like Resident Evil.
Yeah.
So, you were almost a Jill sandwich.
Rob, you literally brought up exactly what I was about to say. Is I almost felt even more nostalgic towards this because it felt like I was playing the first Resident Evil for that reason.
I love it. Excellent.
So, a lot of the points that I have against the game are just superficial in terms of it being a classic horror experience. It's really good. I play so many. I play so many horror games in recent years that I've become kind of numb to, unless it's like a jump scare, something doesn't really scare me, but I have an appreciation or acknowledgement of like, wow, that's pretty freaky. Holy shit. But in this game, there was legitimately moments where I went, oh my God, and had to like stop for a second. And I was so impressed with it. And the gameplay was so fun. The puzzles were so fun. I absolutely loved it. Anybody listening and anybody in this call, if you have an interest in like classic Resident Evils, but some of the jankiness of, games from that era doesn't appeal to you, this is the perfect alternative. And I can't speak for other platforms because I don't know, but on PlayStation 5, when I purchased it, it was only $20. So, I'm just impressed with this game across the board. And when I beat it, it's not a very long game. I beat it in 2 days of fairly long play sessions. And that was the other thing, going back to, I didn't tell anybody I played this. I realized I played it and beat it while Holly was at work. So Holly didn't even like come home and acknowledge that I was playing it. So that was why when I realized nobody knew I played this, I even uninstalled it so that if she played a PS5 game, she wouldn't see it on the dashboard. Because I was like, no, I want this to be a surprise in our Game of the World Game Awards
secret.
podcast.
I knew it was an indie of some sort, but I didn't expect a horror, but I don't like the scary games anyway.
Yeah, I was sad when I beat it.
I'm a big baby.
And a lot of people bring up nowadays, and this is, I don't want to turn this back into the we're old and our generation is better, but I see this argument a lot where if a game isn't like 50 hours minimum, it's bad or not worth the price tag.
Yeah.
I can understand that argument to an extent. There are some times where I feel there's not enough game here to make it worth, in Canadian dollars moving into next gen, $80,
$90.
There's not enough game here. But what I don't want is like 80 to 90 hour. I love playing a game and beating it in a weekend. And assuming it's good all the way through, if it's like my new obsession, I'll play it again right away or something.
Yeah.
But I don't like, I still, even though I did enjoy and nominated last year Assassin's Creed Valhalla, I have not beaten it because I've got like 50 hours in that game and I think I'm only halfway through. And I will never start a new game. I will probably, if I ever play again, just pick up where I left off. But I miss the days of just, wow, what a hell of a 2 days that was. That was fantastic. Yeah. And this game kind of brought that back for me a little bit. So it impressed me across the board. I recommend it to everybody, but if you are very judgmental of things like writing and voice acting and stuff like that, be prepared to have a bit of a cringe fest because it's not. But I'm hoping this game makes a lot of profit for these developers and they make a sequel that just kind of polishes up some of the blemishes that this one has. But I adored it. It was so good. And I was surprised. A little shout out to a fellow Canadian content creator, but one that's actually famous and makes money. So you will never see us and not him. But a Canadian YouTuber I really like named NitroRad, as his last game of 2021, just like a couple days ago, put out a review of Tormented Souls. So I was like, oh, people are talking about this. I'm so happy. So go watch that. But yes, that's my runner up is Tormented Souls. I loved it.
All right.
I love it.
Yeah,
excellent.
Yeah, like I like what you said about it, being a shorter game and actually appreciating it for that. 'Cause I'd much rather have something like you say that I can beat in a weekend or something that I then actually want to like go and revisit than something that's going to take me weeks upon weeks to actually finish.
I do enjoy the occasional long game, but there seem to be so many like expansive, sprawling, open world games that take me like a month to complete, and it's like, oh my lord!
It all depends on like your play style,
it does.
and even what you're in the mood for, right? Because sometimes I'm the same way. Sometimes I'm in the mood for a shorter adventure and just kind of like Tom said, just to beat it in a weekend, and then be like, wow, that was great, and then look forward to coming back to it, knowing that it's not going to take you an age and a half to beat it or whatever. And then sometimes it's nice to lose yourself in a game that takes a little bit more time and
like I will never I do love my long games. I love my sandbox games, which go on for fucking ever.
Where you build houses.
Where I build houses. Zombie apocalypse? No. Renovation projects. I do love my longer games, but I have been getting like a lot of the itches lately because there just seem to be so many like big, long, expansive games coming from like more of the well-known publishers. Kind of like, I really just miss like just having a weekend game, like just a game that over the weekend I was just play and beat. Like Mass Effect 1, not really, but 2 and 3, I can beat those in a weekend. Not both, but like I can beat 2 in a weekend, and then I'll beat 3 and maybe like one day of the weekend if I'm like really hammering
it. You're chugging some Red Bulls.
When I want to play video games, I forget to eat. Like I'll just go like 12 hours, and I'll be like, "Oh, that was good. Oh God, I'm hungry. I'm inverting. My body, it is consuming itself." My ass has finally decided to eat my hand. It hungers for more. But yeah, so like I miss a lot of and like I found myself lately actually going back on a lot of like really old games that I could just do in a weekend.
Yeah.
Because
I can understand why it's difficult for companies and developers to have to kind of go that route. It
doesn't make as much money.
That too, but games are so expensive to develop nowadays. Like this industry is way bigger than it was like in the early 2000s. Like, and not only like the developers are bigger, like it costs more money to produce these games and to make them some of them almost cinematic experiences to that extent. So it costs a lot of money to put that effort into games, which makes them those big, high $90, $80 price tags. And then us as the consumers have expectations of what's in that $90 package. So if we don't get a 50-hour plus game or whatever, and we're spending $90, then we're like, well, what the fuck? Like, what did I just spend my money on? And I feel that on both sides, the consumers have an expectation, and because the consumers have an expectation, the developers are also obviously catering to that expectation because the games are so expensive. Because I'm pretty sure that if Tom had spent $90 on Tormented Souls, even though he loved the game, he probably would have been a little bit miffed that he beat it in a few days.
Potentially, yeah.
Potentially. I'm not trying to speak for you, but I'm trying to say that that's a lot of how most people view it. Because not many people appreciate like games to the depth that people like us do, I think. Because like some people just
people just want to just
some
play
people just
something.
want to play a game, right? They don't really think too hard into like, oh, who developed it, or like, was this a passion project, or is this part of a series of games that I grew up loving, and that kind of stuff. Some people just want to purchase a game and play it, and then so if they're spending a lot of money, they expect to get their worth out of that game. So even though it's like, man, this game was super great, it had so much charm, it had so much love put into it, but it's a small package with a big price tag. Some people have a hard time swallowing that pill.
Yeah.
Holly with the sage advice. It's the wisdom.
I am the ultimate sage. But yes, I can sympathize with some people who just want to play video games, because I know a lot of people in my day-to-day life that they're not as into video games as we are, and when I talk about it, I can see the look on their faces, and they look like I'm fucking crazy.
Oh my god! Yeah.
But they're like, yeah, I wanted to play Animal Crossing, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Fair.
Like,
gaming is for everyone.
So anyway, that's I won't rant about that anymore.
Gaming is for everyone.
Yeah, E for everybody.
E for everybody.
All right. So that means it's now time to talk about the the real winners, the ones that really got our attention this year.
The wieners.
Don't be a wiener, pick a winner. So yeah, I guess like with the runners up, we'll start with the non-2021 games. Let's spin that wheel.
Spin it. Spin it.
So no one talked, but as the first person to talk after the wheel was spun, it chose you, Holly.
Oh, for fuck's sakes.
Well, that's because she started going na 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 na.
My non-2021 game of the year is one of Tom's old nominees from when it came out, and that was Jedi Fallen Order. Dun, dun, dun.
I still have to play that game.
I broke my Star Wars virginity.
Well, okay then.
Yeah,
not on the internet.
Oh my goodness!
Oh.
Did you realize what you've said?
I've sensed a large
Popped my Star Wars cherry. Y'all heard it.
I've sensed a large disturbance in the Force, as if millions of fanboys all came at the same time.
A new Padawan was born. But
You think
yes,
Sir Alec Guinness would be rolling in his grave if he knew somebody quoted his line in that context?
I mean, he hated those movies, so I don't think he'd care.
But yeah, again, I just wanted something to play, and I didn't know what I was in the mood for, and I was actually it was either going to be Jedi Fallen Order or Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I was like, I want to play one of these games, but I don't know which one I want to play. And then I decided, because I've never... I need to stop saying this. I never used to be into like space, sci-fi, fantasy kind of stuff. Like that just wasn't my cup of tea. I was more into like the medieval fantasy sort of side. Obviously being a Lord of the Rings fan, hooray. And yeah, I've never watched Star Wars front to back. Like obviously Tom has watched them here at home, and I've sat in on a few of the films, and I've seen bits and pieces of like most of them, but never each of them all the way through. And so I haven't really grasped on whether or not like I'm a fan of Star Wars or anything like that, just because I haven't fully dedicated myself to it in that sense. But then yeah, I decided I wanted to play Jedi Fallen Order just on a whim. And I was surprised. I was surprised at how much I enjoyed it, how much fun I had, how much I liked the characters, how much I kind of got more so immersed in like the world and the story and all that kind of stuff. And I feel, knowing more now, I've misjudged it because I always had, predetermined perception of what Star Wars is and like what it's like and all that kind of stuff. But I kind of like how they incorporate the whole like sci-fi fantasy, because it really is sci-fi fantasy, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's like sometimes I've always seen sci-fi as just like sci-fi tech and like, and then space, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't know if that makes any fucking sense. But the fact that there's a lot of going back to me saying that I'm a Lord of the Rings fan, there's a lot of elements of like medieval fantasy that has been transformed in Star Wars that makes it fit within the universe a little bit more without making it seem too like spacey. I'm using a lot of weird words. But anyway, I found that it still met the needs of like what I love about medieval fantasy while still doing its own thing. And that's what I kind of liked about it. Yeah, I liked that it surprised me and that it exceeded my expectations rather than meet it or fall short, I suppose. The combat was interesting. I kind of felt like I fumbled through the entire game. I'd never felt very successful in combat. Like I said, I kind of felt like I was just tripping over my own feet the whole time, which I guess is okay. I mean, I didn't die all the time. Sometimes I died. But yeah, because a lot of people have critiqued this game for having the combat being very, very difficult, and I can see why people felt that way. Because I think I had the difficulty on casual, because I'm one of those people. Fight me if you will. But I was a little bit more into it for the story and the lore and stuff like that, and I just kind of wanted to experience the game without hating it. So I put it on a lower difficulty. And even then, I didn't struggle, but I struggled to fluidly perform certain combos and stuff like that. That's more what I struggled with, because like the AI just turns to fucking paste when you're on that low of a difficulty, because sometimes they just stand there and look at you and like just shoot you from afar. So it's a good way to get your combos down when you have more time. But even then, when the AI was just kind of fucking stupid, I was having a hard time, properly performing combos and landing hits and stuff like that. But I barely lost health because that was never really a concern for me. But I really wanted to get a hang of the combat, which never happened, in my opinion. So, but other than that, it was a really fun game. I really enjoyed it, and for my first Star Wars experience, it was good. I liked it.
Here, Rouge.
Yeah.
All right.
Rouge.
All right. So spin the wheel again. And this time it's Tom.
So my non-2021 game of the year is a little known classic on PS2 I'm sure everybody's heard of, called Gungrave.
Yes.
Classic. Mwah. Mwah.
So this is a little bit of a sneak peek a little bit, but so Jordan and I, if you are a regular viewer of the channel, you know that Jordan and I are playing Bloodborne. So Jordan and I had a couple days where he wasn't working and was readily available, so we hammered out and completed Bloodborne, the main game. We haven't done the DLC yet, but that will come. But we decided let's take a break between Bloodborne and the next thing. And even though whatever it is we record probably won't air until like March, let's record it right now because Jordan can sometimes go months and months where he's just unavailable to record. And this gave Jordan something to put in the big backlog, probably the farthest ahead we've ever recorded something, so that down the road, if he's unavailable, there's still something to air so he doesn't just disappear from the channel for years at a time like what usually happens. So Jordan and I, when this series airs, you'll obviously hear this being retold, but Jordan and I, years back, both watched the Gungrave anime and fell absolutely head over heels in love with it. It is so good. And years ago, while browsing our local retro game store, we discovered that there was a Gungrave video game on the PS2. So we bought it with the intention of playing it on the channel someday, and it ended up getting forgotten for a very long time. So he came over and we picked a game off the shelf, and it was Gungrave because we thought, hey, this has been years coming. I think we bought this game in 2016 or 17 or something, and it never got played on the channel. And because I wanted my first experience to be on the channel, I never played it. So we played it for the first time, recording for the channel. And again, those episodes will air, I think, in March. It might be a little earlier. But I was shocked at how good that game is. If you like kind of old school arcade shoot 'em ups, that is what this game is. And it is so good at being just a balls to the wall, 5 hours and you beat it, kind of just nuts game. And as soon as Jordan and I beat it, I immediately replayed it because I was just enamored with it's so fun to just shoot everything that moves and make the environment explode and have a power fantasy of a good time for a couple hours. And live on the show during recording, Jordan and I both discovered this game isn't based on the anime, it's the other way around. In Japan, this game was so popular that Sega, who was one of the publishers and developers for the game, partnered with, I believe it was Toei Animation. I might be wrong, but they partnered with a production company and turned it into an anime. And the anime is fucking great. And it was so cool to play this game knowing that it's technically the source material and seeing how it influenced the anime's direction. And it was like rewatching the anime for the first time playing this game. And in a lot of ways, it gets way weirder than the show does. But the show is still fucking weird. So anybody who's seen it and maybe not played this game, that shocks them. I can guarantee you, because the show is weird and this game dials it up even more. But it's an art, like I said, it's an arcade shooter where you're basically it's ABS, always be shooting and racking up your combos, getting high scores, and basically every stage is maybe 10 minutes long of just fucking blowing shit up, and then there's a really good boss fight at the end of it, and I was shocked. I knew the second I played KOTOR that it was going to be one of my nominations. This was a game where big reason why it's winning is I went into it expecting it to be a shitty licensed game and had my fucking nuts blown off. Like, Jesus Christ, this game was so much fun. And even just sitting here talking about it, I want to play it again right now. Like, this game is so much fun. And yeah, it adds to the fun factor when you're caught completely off guard by it. So it's my non-2021 game of the year is Gungrave on the PlayStation 2.
All right. I'm honestly like listening to you talk about. I completely get that because it sounds a lot like what I like about Vanquish, just like completely crazy, like arcade action.
Yes,
Yeah.
actually, from what very limited, I've only played Vanquished for maybe like an hour, but from what I remember, comparing it to Vanquish would actually be pretty close.
Cool.
I haven't played either.
Yeah, neither have I. I mean, I watched I seen a little bit of the Gungrave game because I watched some of the footage that Tom had taken, and I did sit down and watch the anime with him for a little bit. It's a whiplash. I will say that. Like, I watched the show because like it technically has like an 18 episode epilogue, and I was like, I thought this show was about like the mafia, and then it turns into like Bleach. And it's like a complete whiplash, and I was like, what is going on? And like, yeah, I was only kind of like half watching it because I was doing some other things while he was watching it, so occasionally glancing up and listening to dialogue, so I knew a bit of what was going on. But then all of a sudden it just flips on his head 180, and it's a completely different show, and I'm like, what the fuck just happened?
So a little bit of a teaser for people who haven't seen it. If you like anime, I really recommend it. Think like Resident Evil, like Umbrella Corporation, like how they always experiment and create like super soldiers and zombies and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Instead of Umbrella Corp, make it the Mafia, but they're doing the same thing. And the start of the show, like the first, like episode 2 to like episode 15, is basically going from like 18-year-old street kids who just want to succeed in life to, by the end of it, they're all running the mafia itself, and then they turn on each other over like power struggles, and then one of them dies and then gets brought back to life as like a half zombie kind of guy,
like killing machine.
Yeah,
and some guy becomes an attack helicopter.
This is very Resident Evil.
Yeah, like take the Umbrella Corporation from Resident Evil, take some Metal Gear nonsense, take like Bleach enemy designs, and mix it all together in a cesspool, and throw a little Van Helsing in there for how the main character looks and the weapons he uses and stuff, and then drink that, and that's the experience of Gungrave. And
I am so confused, but I am interested.
Isn't his weapon like technically a coffin?
Yeah, his big fucking cannon is a coffin. It's the coffin he was supposed to be buried in.
Yeah.
But
it
is so good. It is so good, and I love it. And it's so cheesy too, because in the beginning it's constantly doing a monologue about the main character's name is Brandon Heat, and he is beyond the grave. So I think when we played Among Us a couple weeks ago, Jordan and I both said that at the same time, because we've been playing the Gungrave game, and Gungrave.
I remember you saying that, but I did not get the reference at all.
The anime, I know this is me gushing about the anime right now, but the anime is so good. But the game, holy shit, I was so impressed with the game, and I might see if I can beat it again tonight now. But yeah, the Gungrave is my game of the year for non-2021 releases.
All right. Yeah, honestly, as soon as you compared the character designs to Bleach, I was sold. That's not on my list.
I'll take, you know what, right now, anybody who's at home can Google this shit, but I'm just going to...
Us in Discord.
Well, I'm going to send it to Holly's seen it, so I won't send it to Holly, but I'll send the protagonist's design to Rob and Nathan so that they can see it.
We'll just put it in the Discord chat, yeah.
Well, I don't want to risk someone jumping into the call because they think we're talking about Gungrave.
I heard someone talking about Gungrave.
Oh yeah, I see what you mean.
But
wow. Yeah, I can see it.
Oh, I love that. Oh, now I gotta rewatch the show too.
And this is just turning into full on. We're just watching him fall into the trap of watching more Gungrave.
So yes,
join
I'm
the
done.
Gungrave cult.
All right.
Beyond the grave. I love it.
Turn up the heat.
Turn up the
heat. All right. So you got another spin of the wheel here.
Spin that wheel.
And Nathan, it's time for your winner.
Oh wow! What did I choose? Oh right.
My brain.
Oh right. Oh, I love this game. This is a good game.
What game is it, Nathan?
So, if you want to nitpick, I technically started this at the butt end of 2020 Yeah. But it was after we recorded the last podcast, so and I had just started, so
All right, that's fine.
fuck you.
Wow.
I have
No,
aggressive
fuck you
input
too!
choices.
No, it's fine. You do you, man. Fuck you.
You.
You piece of shit.
So this game made me have moments of smiling because just stupid dorky, moments of crying because like I actually had tears
It's gone great.
because of just how cute it is, and there were some extremely sad and fucked up themes going on.
Oh, now it's Galgun.
No, it's Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Explorers of Time.
Okay, continue.
I cried one part that I'm not going to specify, and I have like a poker face through some like seriously sad and fucked up shit. So like it's hard to get like me like emotional when it comes to a scene. Like usually I'm just like, yeah, that's written well, or yeah, I like that's good. But in this I'm just like, oh no, don't do that. And like it was so dorky and it was fun, and it was really like one like when I was talking back like the old fashioned like styles of games, you like sit down and like you just play them for a weekend and beat through them. Well, it took me about a week, but whatever. Antics or no, not antics. Jesus Christ, what was the word? Semantics? I don't know.
Semantics, yeah.
Yes. It was just a game I picked up because my buddy Brendan was just like, yeah, you really have to try the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon series. And I'm like, all right. So I bought it when I was down visiting my boyfriend before COVID hit. And it was in like this little like game shop, and I was looking through. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember Brandon saying shit about or talking about Mystery Dungeon, whatever, who's it's. Sure, I'll pick it up. Why not? So I got a cartridge, came home, forgot about it for like I don't know a year and a bit until one day I was digging through. And I found and he's gonna be pissed off to hear it because he let me take the game because he was like, "Oh, I'm sorry you lost it," but I found it with his um uh God, what was the game? Jesus Christ! It was Pokemon Mystery Dungeon and the Nintendo's fucking building a little town game. I did Animal Crossing. He let me use take his Animal Crossing.
What?
I was
My
gonna say,
brain.
Tamagotchi life?
Yeah, I was like,
my brain goes places, so just don't worry about it. It's fine. So yeah, found that, and I was like, oh, I should probably play these. Popped in Explorers of Time, and then completely forgot that Animal Crossing existed for like a good 2 weeks. It was so fun. It brought me back to like the old style Pokemon. It was like playing like old Pokemon games, but with like a new fresh coat of paint. It's that you wear the Pokemon and stuff was happening, and I got really sad at one point, and I got really happy at another point, and I just loved it. It was all around. I enjoyed it. I know it's not like everybody I've been looking online like Explorers of Time is kind of like in the ranking of mystery dungeon games. Apparently, it's a bit on the lower end. Apparently, there are games that have like some of the characters I found were like okay. It was mostly like your buddy and like the dialogue. Apparently, there are some games that have like amazing character like just development in it. And I'm just like, what the fuck, Nintendo? Like Nintendo, seriously, make more. I'm super happy they're doing Arceus because Pokemon games, I love them, but they're like you know what you expect out of a mainstream Pokemon game. But Pokemon side games, I don't think I've ever played a Pokemon side game that I have not loved. Like, there's the one on the game, like the one where like all the Pokemon are being turned into shadow Pokemon. That one was fun. Like Explorers of Time or like Mystery Dungeon. Just got into this one. I now want to play all the mystery dungeons because apparently I just got it now, man. Like, there's no going back for me now. Arceus, want to play it so bad, hoping it's on the same quality level as all their other like side Pokemon games. They do such good side Pokemon games. And like this one, I lost myself for a good 2 weeks. And I'm one of those weird people that usually if I like a game, I'll stop playing it because I don't want to finish it too quickly. Like I'll like stop and like take a break and be like, okay. Like that's what's happening with my actual like game of the year that I found myself, and I really have to play it because I was playing it with a friend and he's been biting at the bit to continue it. And I'm just like, oh, I'm sorry. This is what I do if I really like a game. But like Mystery Dungeon, I had to keep on playing it. It was like, oh shit.
I'm looking at the box art for this game right now, and I don't understand how it made you cry when that little penguin has a bow tie.
Trust me.
Maybe
There
it's so
comes a
cute he
time in your
cried.
life
I
where
think the penguin dies. Gets brutally murdered.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
He gets
you're not
stabbed by the
far off
turtle.
from the truth. But maybe
He
shit
gets
goes
stabbed by the
down.
turtle and eaten by the Arbok.
We now know how Pokemon eat. No, it
I mean,
was.
I hope like normal.
I mean, their food source.
Kibble. They only eat kibble.
No.
What's it made of?
Kibble.
No, it's a really good game.
Vegetable.
And if you really want a cute game that has like surprising amounts of like don't get me wrong, it's still like somewhat kid like there are a few moments like character wise I was just like they're being stupid, but like they're animals. Like
They're
I don't
kid
expect you to
animals.
be like IQ 2000 if you're a fucking penguin.
I
But
expect.
there are
IQ
some points
2000
that
from
even I was just
penguins,
like,
okay?
wait a second, hold up. Wait one moment. Like there were actually a good few curveballs here and there. And I was just like, oh, huh. I did not see that coming. Or like with the one bit, I was like, no, there is actually one song that I listen to, and I literally just like a tear rolls down my cheek now whenever I hear. I'm just like,
A song.
I know that part. I know how I felt when I hit that part. Oh, it's such a beautiful song.
It hit all the feels.
It really, it was so left field, and I was like, this is a Pokemon game. Hold the fucking phone. This is a Pokemon game.
I mean,
I
it's
loved
a
it. It
Pokemon
was
game
good.
about like animal violence, so yeah.
Animal violence, man, but like don't get me wrong, there have been some dark themes in Pokemon. Like X and Y really kind of touched on like it's actually Diamond Pearl and X and Y are two of my favorite games because it gets into a lot of like the background lore and like the world building and a lot of like the more darker side of Pokemon where like you do come to the realization that yeah, you're a 10-year-old who's just going for like this championship that like all 10-year-olds do. But there is a world with like
Because I missed that expectation for 10
yeah, I know, like there's a lot when I was 10 that I just passed over. And like when you're playing a Pokemon game, you're a 10-year-old and there's a lot of stuff in the world that you don't really process when you're 10 that when you grow up you actually go, huh, you know, I never thought about that. Like when you actually take a step back and go, that like some shit in history happened and it's not until you're older that you actually appreciate it. And like that's a lot of why I love Diamond and Pearl and X and Y is because it did bring you like it did have a bit more mature. I guess Sun and Moon kind of did a little bit of that, but not really. I mean, I think he murdered someone's mom in it, but Glossed over.
Come on, Kayla, let's go on an adventure with all these wild animals you caught and go
It's
kill
okay.
some guy.
She was abusive, anyways. But yeah, there is a point where you kind of look at it, and those games really do touch on like other aspects of the world that a 10-year-old would not appreciate, but you as a player who's not 10 will actually step back and go, "Huh, I kind of get why this is probably not a great thing." Or this is like part of history and now we do this because of X. And it's like, okay, like I get this. And then Mystery Dungeon was just like, oh, okay.
Mystery
Just
Dungeon
stab me
fucked
in the
him
heart,
up.
why don't you? And also make me love you at the same time. Oh, it was such a good game. I will literally start gushing about like Pokemon at this point now. It's a really good world, and it's not really appreciated for what it is, but I appreciate you, Pokemon. I see what you do. I appreciate you. I'm a lore nerd. I dig into this shit though,
Here's a
so I know
gold
that
star.
like 90% of people who are probably normal and not like me probably don't come to realize, but I appreciate. Thank you for letting this ADHD child have this interesting stint into existential dread.
All right, I have to say I love the amount of roguelike representation we're getting in this
Oh,
episode,
it's so good. Roguelikes are the beautiful thing.
and we'll get back to that later.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, my winner for a non-2021 games is honestly, this is kind of the same situation as Ollie Ollie. It was a game that I'd been interested in for a little while, but I wasn't quite sure about the controls. But then it was on cheap, and I had a bunch of eShop credit. So yeah, my favorite non-2021 game is Dandara, which is
What?
it's an indie game. It's basically like a Metroidvania, but instead of like the usual platforming, what you do is they're basically like spots on the walls that you can stick to, and you just kind of set your trajectory and jump from one place to another.
Huh.
And yeah, so that was kind of the thing that had me a little hesitant, because I thought it was so different from what I'm used to. It could have turned out really awkward. But turns out it works great, and it actually it really lets you just kind of glide through all the areas in a really satisfying way. Yeah, it's just what was I gonna say about this? Damn.
The wheel has been in your favor, but it didn't help.
The wheel can pick you, but it cannot pick your thoughts.
So yeah, I mean, it's just you hear this, and I feel like half of all like game reviews now, but it is legitimately just like really fast and fluid action. It's got like a really great atmosphere to it, like really different from what I've seen in anything else. It's like it's a weird split between like fairy tale art, old communist propaganda posters, and like the record
What?
sleeves for 70s progressive rock.
I'm curious.
Like it's really not a look that I've seen in any other games before, which I really appreciate. It's just very unique.
Sorry, what was it again? I'm Googling it right now. My brain.
Dandara.
And how do you fucking spell that? Oh, never mind. Found it.
Found it?
Huh. Huh.
This
Yeah,
is
no, I
where
got you.
Nathan
So-
won't say anything, but a porn game came up, and now he thinks Rob's disgusting.
That's
Yeah,
a
I
lot of
didn't think it was
dicks.
that weird.
That's what I like the lips on that guy. He has a butt chin. Oh my god, I love it.
A butt chin.
No, he literally. Hold on. Rob is. Sorry. Oh my god. Rob, is this the game you're talking about?
I am not searching for the right thing. How do you spell it?
Yeah,
No, wait.
yeah, Nathan's got it. That's the one.
Is it? All right.
Yeah.
Let me.
What
Because
is
there are a
that?
few different pictures
Okay,
that
yeah,
popped up.
that's
That's just like,
Yeah.
I don't know if this is it or
Oh,
what.
Okay.
Yeah,
But
that's the first boss.
oh, well, he has a butt chin. So
Great and powerful.
He
Oz.
has a ball chin like Peter Griffin.
cool looking game, huh?
Yeah, it's just there's like so many interesting ideas in it. Like one of the things about the world is that gravity isn't necessarily consistent. So like you'll enter a room from the right, and then it'll rotate so that entrance is on top, and you have to refer back to the map, and like it's almost a puzzle figuring out exactly where on the map you are, where you need to go, which I actually really appreciate. But yeah, I mean, I just like the past few weeks I've been playing it just on the weekends because that's when I have time. And yeah, I just like I keep thinking, oh, what should I play? And that's just the one I keep going back to.
Hmm.
He's like a giant Thanos.
Yeah, it's actually part of the MCU.
Yeah.
Wow.
With like a, I guess I see where you get the communist vibe from.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that is legitimately just the art style you see
Like
on
just
those
the
old
hat.
like propaganda
Just hat.
posters.
Yeah.
All right, so with that, it's time to turn to the 2021 games that we all really got into.
All right.
And we'll go into our last round of wheel spins. And again, we're starting with Holly in this round.
Come on. I didn't even talk this time. I'm just eating chocolate.
It sensed it.
It's my chocolate num nums.
You're not allowed to have chocolate. Is what it's saying.
Let me swallow my chocolate.
No, you're not allowed. Spit it out.
I'm joking.
Spit it out.
Oh my god.
The internet's gonna go wild with this one.
I haven't heard anyone.
Oh my
I haven't heard someone be this
Now
brave
I got
since
COVID.
Freedom Trophy said, "Here's my wet ass pussy."
Oh, God.
All right.
On that note.
With that intro, so to no one's surprise, at least I think so, my 2021 game of the year is Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. Hooray!
Yay.
Yeah. Yeah. That's it. That's all I gotta say. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't think I was gonna get another Ratchet game in it, to be totally honest. I remember, was it announced at E3? I don't remember. I feel like it was E3.
Sounds right.
But yeah, I remember Tom had watched the presentation before me, and so he said there's a game on there I think you'll really like, but that you're not expecting. And I was like, oh. And because I remember not too long ago I actually brought up that I was like, man, I would really love another Ratchet game, because I had played through them recently at that time, and like I love Ratchet games. They're just fun. They're just good fun. And then I was like, golly gee, I would love a new Ratchet game. And then yeah, like E3, I saw it and I was like, oh, wasn't expecting that, but that's a nice surprise. And so of course I was super hyped. I was like watching all kinds of like theory videos and like following this game like for as long as I could up until launch. And I wanted to play this game so much so that I had to have a PS5 to play it, because obviously it's an exclusive to PS5 and PS5s were really hard to find, and I was like, I have to play this game when it launches. Like that's not even an option. Like I have to have it. I have to play it. And so yeah, I managed to get a PS5 for not that much, over asking. I won't say any more than that. But I was very, very happy that I was able to play it and play it as soon as possible, because I had waited so long to play it ever since I heard that it was a thing. And I was so excited for it, and I really wanted to play it because it was and the game, of course, is stunning. It's beautiful. I love it. Insomniac has been doing such a good job with their games, like on a visual standpoint, on a gameplay standpoint, most definitely on their cinematic stuff. Like even with like Spider-Man, like Miles Morales, like and like the the regular Spider-Man before that, they've just really done a very good job of making their games feel like a cinematic experience, and they did the same thing with Ratchet here. I was skeptical on some of the gameplay aspects of it, but then they grew on me, and I really enjoyed it. And going back to one of our previous conversations about the lengthiness of games, this one was not a long game, in my opinion, anyway. But Tom and I played it co-op. We swapped between characters, and we managed to bang it out in 2 days. But let me rephrase that. It was 2 whole days. Like we didn't take a break. We played it from morning until night, and it was about 2 days. And we finished the game, and I literally booted it up again the next day because I wasn't done with it. I was like, I need to do that again because I was having so much fun with it. And in my perspective, I was like, well, technically, I only experienced half the game, so I'm like, I'm gonna play it in full again. And like, I literally played through it again, like right after I finished it because I had that much fun with it. And I heard a lot of people tossing around that idea because, like, Ratchet and Clank was also a nomination for the Game of the Year award. And I heard a lot of conversation tossed around as to whether or not it deserved a nomination, because people were like, well, it's a Ratchet game. Like, it doesn't do anything other than just being a Ratchet game. And but I don't think that is a reason it shouldn't have been a nomination. I think that's a bit unfair because just because Insomniac has found a formula that works well for that particular game and sticks with it and makes it good and good every time, or at least the best they can, why does that make it not eligible for a nomination just because it's a Ratchet game? And I use air quotes there. But like, because like, in my opinion, and again, everyone has their own opinion, it can differ. I feel that they did the gameplay as like the best that I've experienced with Ratchet and Clank, and then they did new things with like new weapons. They really did really good with the Rift tether mechanic. That was really fun, and with the PS5's hardware, it made it even more fluid and more natural to do it, which is really cool. But yeah, I found it kind of I just thought it was unfair, people saying that, oh yeah, Ratchet doesn't deserve a nomination because it's just Ratchet. And it's like, just because Ratchet's good at what Ratchet's doing doesn't mean it's not a good game, right?
Yeah.
And like the story was really good, the characters are really good. Like the animation is phenomenal. Like you pretty much playing a Pixar film. And but yeah, and like the puzzles are still fun, the combat's still really fun. And yeah, I like most of the games that I enjoy, I guess, is just as long as the game provides good entertainment, a little dash of charm, And like I said, as long as you're enjoying yourself and you don't want to throw the controller at the TV, I think you're having a good time. And that usually qualifies a good game for me.
Unless you're a Souls player.
Ratchet for me, Ratchet and Clank games for me is like eating a bowl of soup. It's comfort, it's good every time, and it just satisfies the craving.
It's fair. I like it.
All right, cool. So let's see who's up next. Spin the wheel.
Not me. Unless you want me to talk about it again.
Oh, all right. So it's me this time.
I was
Oh.
deliberately staying quiet because I didn't want it to be me yet.
I didn't want to be chosen.
All right. So yeah, my winner is this is where we get back to the roguelike representation I was talking about. My winner is Loop Hero.
Oh.
Yeah. This was a game I saw during by last summer I mean like 2020, back when they were first doing all those like digital presentations. Everyone had like 3 hours of basically the same stuff.
Yeah.
But one that showed up that really intrigued me was Loop Hero, mostly because of the visuals and because I had no idea how the gameplay worked, which for some reason is always a hook. But yeah, that one really got my attention, and then I think it was like later that summer, there was a bunch of Steam demos that came out, played the demo for it, thought, okay, yeah, this is really interesting. So yeah, this was one I actually did buy pretty much on release when it came out. And yeah, I really love the way it does its gameplay, because it's not something I've ever seen before. If anyone's not familiar, basically you get this sort of randomly generated looping path, and a little guy going along it, just circling around. And basically what happens is monsters show up on the path, you fight them, get gear and certain cards to change the terrain. So you can put up, stuff that heals you, stuff that gives you extra HP, stuff that gives you, stronger monsters to fight to get better gear. Basically doing that progresses the game to where you get a boss. And throughout this whole thing, you don't really have any direct input on the character. Basically, just put stuff in their way, give them whatever upgrades you can, and see what happens. Which, I mean, usually, I'm drawn more towards, kind of action-heavy games. But this one, it's so satisfying to kind of create these builds and just see what happens. See what kind of, almost like a machine you can create. So yeah, that's one of my favorite things to do is you can set your character up to basically heal a little bit each second, and also heal when they attack. So it's really satisfying to set them up and to the point where oh yeah, you get to the end of the level and you basically just don't even take damage anymore. You kind of have to think through, what each upgrade does, how different cards interact with each other, because a bunch of them have sort of unforeseen consequences. And yeah, I mean, there isn't really much to say about it. It's just really satisfying to see what happens and watch numbers go up in a way that I hadn't really expected it to be that satisfying.
So I didn't realize till now. So your character kind of just keeps moving and you build the environment, right?
Yeah.
So is it almost kind of like a roguelike Lemmings situation?
Sort of. I've also heard it described as kind of a reverse tower defense.
Yeah.
Huh.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's really not anything like any other games I've played before, which I really appreciate. And so yeah, that's my winner. Let's see who's up next.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
And it's Tom.
Okay.
What do you eat?
Everybody gets one guess, and I think they know what it is.
Metroid.
Is it Halo Infinite?
It's Metroid.
Oh, god damn it, I'm an idiot.
God damn it, I'm an idiot.
I completely forgot that game came out.
Right?
Oh, I didn't, because I waited 19 years for it.
Yeah, so did everyone else.
So yeah, my game of the year 2021 is Metroid Dread. God damn, that's such a good game. If you pay attention to the channel at all beyond these podcasts, you'll know that I love Metroidvanias. Our Hollow Knight playthrough was a lot of fun for me. I just really think that that's probably the coolest way to design a game, is leave it up to the player to forge their own path rather than being taken on a journey. Which is also fun at times, but I really appreciate it when it's up to you to solve the puzzles and figure out where to go and what have you. And for the record, there's a particular individual on social media and the internet at large that a lot of people who follow the publicity that Metroid Dread got would be aware of, but he gave the game a very low review score because he couldn't figure out where to go. But the exact room that he got stuck in was a room that I also got stuck in. But when I found the solution, I wasn't mad about it. I was like, oh, so that's how this game's gonna do things. And I think that there's a very different approach from an audience standpoint when it comes to whether or not that's considered good or bad game design. I'm in the camp of it being good game design because it forces the player to figure out how to proceed in similar situations. A better example might be something like a classic Zelda game where you learn in those classic games that when you see two torches on either side of a single square, that there's a bombable wall there. And so 20 years down the road, when they do that again, you just know how to solve that. So to the people that jumped into this game without playing any prior Metroid games, I feel like that's a lot of them struggled. But I think the discourse about this game for that reason shows that it reached a wider audience than Metroid typically does, which I'm very happy about. So narratively, Metroid Dread is finally the conclusion to the core Metroid series, and all of the loose ends got tied up. I liked how they tied up all the loose ends. The cut, seeing Samus, not only her new design, which I really liked, her new armor's design, but seeing Samus in true HD visuals in these beautiful cutscenes and beautiful game environment was just, it was just so good. It was so lethargic because I waited so long for this experience and truly thought it would never come. And if you listen to our podcast, you'll know our pre-E3 podcast, I threw Metroid Dread as a possibility, and Rob brought up that I don't think that's ever going to happen. So
I do remember that, yeah.
and then in our post one, I was like, fuck you. It just delivered on everything I wanted out of a Metroid experience. Truest to, I mean, it was the inventor of the Metroidvania genre, obviously. So it did everything right for me. A lot of people make the argument that because it's 2D, it's not worth the full MSRP price, and I completely disagree there. But I think that also goes back to the whole we're older conversation. But everything, I loved the Emmy, the new enemy that follows you and chases you, Alien Isolation style. I absolutely adored the Emmy zones. They were so intense. Moving 5 feet in those zones felt like you just ran across a country because it was so stressful and intense. So then when you finally got like the power weapon and could destroy the Emmy in that region, it was so just, it just had such a payoff to the stress that this fucker has caused you. And it just, the whole experience of the game was absolutely fantastic. And I struggled a little bit with some of the bosses where I had to fight them 5 or 6 times before I started to get the hang of their patterns. But if you are having a similar problem there with the bosses, I promise that if you tough it out, there are predictable patterns to the bosses. It sounds silly, but one of the ones I struggled with the most was Kraid, who has the same kind of pattern that he had back in Super Metroid, which is the other big Metroid game I really like. And for some reason, I struggled heavily because I feel like he didn't have much of a tell when he was doing the things he was doing. But after 5 or 6 deaths and runs at the fight, I started to pick up on how to actually react, how to actually progress in the fight, how to get to the next stage. Something I think is really cool that Sakamoto did with this one is obviously speedrunning and sequence breaking is a big part of the Metroid community. And he embraced that by giving bosses secret ways to kill them in like one shot by having weapons and items you're not supposed to have yet. So, for example, you get the bombs that you drop when you're a morph ball, you get them way later in the game than you normally would. And by the time you get them, you've already beaten Kraid. But if you manage to sequence break and the game and get into areas where you haven't or aren't supposed to be in, and you can get the bombs that way, there's actually a secret way to kill Kraid with the bombs where he dies in one hit, so that you can then continue your speed run to beat the game as quickly as possible. So he gave every boss a secret way to kill it if you've sequence broken the game, because he knows the point of a speed run is to beat it fast. And I think that's such a unique. Nintendo is not usually very good at embracing the online communities of their games, and I think that the way he went about doing this was really good for that. But yeah, I don't know what to say about Metroid Dread specifically. I had a stupid shit-eating grin on my face the entire time I was playing it, and I was so enamored with it, and I immediately attempted to replay it and sequence break it myself after beating it, and I managed to get basically past. I basically managed to skip the first boss, but not really, because I ended up needing to go back and kill him anyway immediately after. But I think that Metroid games are just, especially because they're extremely rare, it's special when one comes out, and this one was a solid. If I had to give it a review score based on other Metroid games, I would say it's a solid 10 out of 10, and especially after a 19-year wait, that's perfect. That I love that game, and Metroid Dread is my game of the year for 2021.
All right, cool.
Nice.
But it ain't Gungrave.
Surprise plot twist, Gungraves is game of the year.
Yeah, I played the demo for Dread, and yeah, I really want to get into the actual game now. So yeah, that just leaves Nathan with your game of the year.
Alright, well, this one I kind of hinted a little earlier in my statement of I really need to continue or finish this game, and I am sorry to the poor person that I'm making wait, because I don't want it to end. I don't want the experience to end in this case. I want to drag it out a little longer. But it's a game that surprised me, because yet again, it was a game that really had a rough start. Like, a really rough start to the year, but they've improved it like so much since it started. And that game is, drumroll because I'm the last person, I guess. Whatever. What's a drumroll? Outriders! Yay! That game's weird, but I like it. Outriders is a game about humanity basically fucking over Earth, going to a new planet, and then, hey, guess what? This planet fucks them over. Yep. It's a good game. It's very it kind of has Fallout vibes to the extent like the world's gone to shit and you have like these like you have like your fucking absolute batshit crazy raider faction that's like and like doing their thing. It honestly, it's very kind of Fallout New Vegas. You have like your crazy, like you have your Legion, the batshit crazy cannibal. I don't think the Legion was cannibalistic, but you know, cannibalistic because food short. Um, like pillage, rape, murder, dudes. Um, then you
Oh,
have
that sounds
like
great.
then you have like the more civilized faction, which is like trying to make all the resources they have like work and spread out, and they're just like spread a little thin and all that. And you're kind of like the dude in the center who's like, "Hey, what up? I I'm here now."
What up?
Also, I have
Up,
superpowers.
bro?
Uh, which is funny because I like the way that they kind of tie the superpowers into the world, and they make you like really feel like super strong at the beginning, like, oh, no one can ever kill what you are, and then you know you kill one of the people you are, you're like, oh, so apparently I can kill what we are, and then apparently someone else died some way, and you're like, all right, so maybe we aren't that invincible. And oh, like I'm having a hard time because there's a lot of different like aspects, and I also don't want to spoil anything in case anybody else wants to play it. It's a fun game. I'm enjoying it multiplayer. It kicks my ass sometimes. It's action oriented. It's a cover shooter, but with the ability of you're not stuck to the cover, so you can run around if you want. But like taking cover is a good idea sometimes, especially when some asshole with like a minigun is barreling down on you, and you're like, yeah, tapping out that one, hiding behind these. It's fun. Can kick your ass. It's a good challenge. Like, there's never been a part in the game that's been challenging that I've gone, this is bullshit. Like, like game designers, get together. What are you doing? Like, this is just like stupidly hard. There's always a way. It might be frustrating. But like a lot with Metroid, eventually you'll figure out like an encounter. Me and my buddy were like getting our absolute asses handed to us by this one dude who's like walking out to us with a mortar like ability, and then we realize like further down the line we're just like, hold on 2 seconds, there's literally like a reinforced part back here. Why are we charging at this guy? We can just go back here and pick him and all of his stupid dudes off as they're moving up here. Like, there are intuitive moments. There's never been a part that I've been like, oh, this game's bullshit. It's like, you just have to, like, if you're stuck, look at your environment or your enemies or your abilities, and one of those things will definitely be the key to get you through. At least so far. I don't know. The last level could fucking throw this comment out the window.
Yeah, I played the demo of it before it launched, and I did not have a good experience with it.
Yeah, it was rough coming out. It was rough.
The game shat me out, and
Yeah, and like even the start, I was like, all right, yeah, this is like a little funky. Like the start, especially when you're just trying to get like all your stuff together. Because like in the beginning, you're a normal human, so a lot of the like the initial mechanics, it's like, well, at this point, like these mechanics would also be supplemented by your powers, but kind of like the demo and like the very starting of it, you're kind of missing half the toolkit. And so like the very beginning bit, I'm just like, okay, this is like a little. I see like, oh, it has got good movement, like the cover sure is nice, but like, the blah blah blah. But once I got the powers at like the first like actual level, I was like, oh, this is what the demo was missing. Like, and now it's better. Or like this is what the starting bit was missing, and now it's better. Yeah, and overall, like the game itself has gotten so many improvements, and they've done a lot of balancing. Uh, My buddy likes to tell me how when it first came out, there only one class was basically like the feasible class. And basically every other one you just get steamrolled. And the devs have done something that honestly is an amazing idea, and I'm super proud for them. The only thing they have ever done is buff things. They have never nerfed anything. So they've brought things into a weirdly amazing equilibrium by just, if these abilities are weaker, we'll just buff them instead of making like these guys' abilities a little weaker and these guys a little stronger to even it out. No, they just buffed all the other dudes' abilities. When the enemies got a little like too pushovery because of theirs, like, all right, well, we'll just make some of the enemies play. Like, we'll give some of the enemies like new abilities, maybe make a few new like variants. Balanced out surprisingly well. From what I've been told, because I'm a recent player of it. Yeah, they've never taken anything or like nerfed anything. They've only ever given buffs, and somehow it's made like an amazing game out of it. They have really turned it around. I remember when that thing launched, and I was like, I ain't paying I ain't paying $5 for this shit. Like, people are falling through floors, like you can't do anything. Like, textures wouldn't load, like whole levels wouldn't even load in. I was like, what? I literally chalked this game up to just another fuck up, like another like 2021 game fuck up. I was like, all right, well, another one on the pile. And then, yeah, my buddy got it for me, and I played it. I'm just like, this has come a long fucking way. So it's hit this part 1, fun game, like really fun too. The challenge, I love it. It has a really good challenge to it, and I like their challenge system because their challenge system rewards you for doing the higher levels. So there's no like easy, medium, hard. Well, there might be. I can't. No, there isn't.
There might be.
The only no, there isn't. What the fuck am I talking about? The challenge is like world levels. So like you'll play a world level, and like you'll reward loot for that world level. And like that's how you play. If you want to play the entire game on world level 1, you can. You'll just get loot that's world level 1. And like all that, but you'll still like level up and all that from it. But if you want to be one of the cool kids, you'll start up in that level as you unlock them, because you have to unlock all the higher difficulties. I think there's like 80 of them or some bullshit. Probably not. That's overshooting greatly. I think there's 40 or 30. But like you have to actually complete challenges, kill enemies to unlock the next level of difficulty. And then when you do it, you get a reward, and all the stuff will start unlocking at tier 2. You don't have to bop things up to the higher level. And if you like really get stuck on something, you can turn it down if you want, but then you're there's one boss fight that we
Nathan
did.
died.
There's one boss fight we did, but we were both really tired. It was late at night. We just want to finish this and get to a save point. So we knocked it down like 2 levels, steamrolled it, and we were like, all right, good night. If we stuck through, we probably would have figured it out. I really like how they did the difficulty, because it will reward you for upping your difficulty, but it won't penalize you for keeping your difficulty any lower, which is very nice. It is, the gameplay itself, it's like a mixture of Mass Effect and fuck, what was that game?
It reminded me of Destiny when I played it.
Yeah, like it's like a mix of Mass Effect and Destiny. And like I couldn't get into Destiny's story, that's why I stopped playing it, but the gameplay was fun. And so this one kind of has like that weird mix of the two that I really love. It is like I'm playing it's basically like for some fucking reason, completely out of what I usually play. I'm playing a close range, charge into their face and stab people class. I never play those. This is the first fucking game that I've ever played that. Like, I'm the sniper. I'm the guy who sits in the back with like my long range Billy's going, all right, there's one head, there's two head. No, I'm like, I'm going to stab these bastards. No, I'm going to use my blade ability to turn them into skeletons, and then I'm going to punch them. That's my life now. I'm turning people into bones, and I'm punching them. This is Legendary Tales all over again. I am punching skeletons all over again. Full circle, done.
Beautiful. All right. All right. So those are our favorite games we played this year. If you don't agree, who cares?
Too fucking bad.
Go ahead and tell us what yours were in the comments. Maybe you're wrong. Maybe you like bad games.
You like bad games.
But yeah, anyway, those are the ones we got into. So we'll finish with one more segment, because I lied when I said that was the last time we'd used the wheel.
Oh no.
Yes, but the wheel returns.
I thought I brought this full circle,
Which
but
one will
no.
it choose?
The wheel, it continuously loops forever and ever and ever.
So yeah, these are just some of the games that we're excited for in the coming year. So 2022. You know, we're not gonna get like super formal with this. Just talk about as many as you like.
Or even what you don't like.
Yeah, let's talk about the games that we think are stupid.
You know what?
The worst game of 2021.
That would be a good segment to add into this one day. Is like the worst game we played.
This year.
I know. I'd so
We're about
rarely play.
positivity, guys. Come on.
Well, like I almost never play a game where it's like, oh, I hate this. Usually, I'm a pretty good judge of what I'm going to, at least kind of get into.
Yeah.
It's like the worst game I play is like, oh, I mean, this was cool. It just wasn't really
Wasn't as
my
good
thing.
as everything else.
Then we got to have someone else write it. Like what you said before for our new clickbait titles, where you're just, I'm not the biggest fan of Mario, and Mario's the shittiest game ever.
So
Or
anyway,
a toaster.
So anyway, the wheel says that Nathan, you're up first. What are you excited to play next year?
I was picking them out just as you asked me that.
I mean, we don't have to start with you. We can.
I hang on. If you do need more time, I have 6 games that I know I want to talk about.
All right, because I had a few, but I want to get a few more.
Well, Tom knows what he wants to talk about, so he should go last.
All right, well, let's start with Tom then.
Okay, so I don't 100% know if these games are slated to come out next year or if they have just been previously announced to exist.
Mm-hmm.
But I know next year a game called Thymesia is coming out that I'm very excited for. It's kind of like the Bloodborne sequel we never got, but has a very unique twist where you are a plague doctor that uses the sicknesses you cure as your weapons. So, like, if you cure the Black Plague, then you get like a green scythe weapon that inflicts plague damage on the enemies you hit and stuff like that. So you want to try to cure diseases while also slaughtering beasts, and it's such a unique concept that I'm just giddy to see what it's actually like. And it was supposed to come out exclusively for Steam this month, actually, in December. But it got delayed into next year, but they confirmed that it'll have an Xbox Series X and PS5 launch as well now. So I'm excited that I'll be able to play it, because I was at first sad because my PC would not be able to run this game. So I was quite happy when I found out it was delayed, but also it's coming to the next gen systems, because now that I have a PS5, I can play it.
Mm-hmm.
Another game that was supposed to come out this month and got delayed to, I think, February for sure, was Shredders. Rob mentioned he gets his 1080 fix from Ollie Ollie. I don't have something to give me my 1080 fix, but Shredders was looking like it might be able to do it, and then it got delayed.
Yeah.
But I'm not the type of person that gets whiny about delays, because if a game needs a delay, it It needs a delay. Look at Halo Infinite. Look at
Yeah.
how
Yeah. Oh boy.
one more year. Imagine if Cyberpunk had one more year.
So much better.
Rip Cyberpunk. Rip.
Cyberpunk.
So Shredders just looks to be like the snowboarding game I've been waiting for a very long time, and I'm excited to see how it does. If you've listened to our previous podcast, you know that I never shut up about Dino Crisis. Well,
Yeah, oh, yes.
at E3 this year. No, wait, was it maybe? I don't think it was E3.
I want to say it was
Oh.
I think it was. Yeah, I think it was E3. Because wasn't it part of the PC game show, whatever they called it?
Yes, I think it was. Okay, so this year a new game was announced called Instinction, which is heavily inspired by Dino Crisis, and I follow the developers on Twitter, and whenever it was, I believe Rob's right. I believe it was the PC gaming segment of E3 of this past year. They tweeted out that if Capcom won't do it, we will. Oh yeah! So I'm very excited. We don't know much about it. The teaser we had was just a bunch of cinematic camera angles of, I think, in-engine footage, but maybe it wasn't even that. But it exists. There is something I can put my faith in because Capcom just won't acknowledge that Dino Crisis ever existed.
It's okay, Tom. Capcom lets us all down.
Yeah.
But those are some of the biggest games that I'm very excited for. The other ones are, I was surprised that at the Game Awards this year, there's a new Star Trek game being developed called Star Trek Resurgence. That looked very interesting. Again, we don't know much, but I'm just surprised that it's a thing again. So I'm excited for it because I am a Star Trek fan. But the other two games I want to talk about, I have a little bit more to say. I don't know what it is about indie games and little like skeleton characters that just seems to jive with me, especially when it's about like reaping souls, because this year I also played Death's Door and I really liked it, which, by the way, Rob, if that's on your list, I think you'll really like it.
Oh, it's definitely on there. I'm going to play it at some point.
It was one of the games I was debating nominating this year. But Have a Nice Death was announced at the Game Awards this year, and it looks
so cute.
It looks so interesting. I think the premise is that you are death and your employees are shit, so you just say fuck it and start doing shit on your own, and it's I don't know what it is about like that imagery, but as soon as I saw it in action, I was like, oh my god, I gotta play this.
The animation looked really good though.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just the frames of animation were just really well done and really detailed, and it just looked really nice and fluid.
So the last game I have to talk about was technically announced at the Game Awards in 2020, and they said they would talk more about it in 2021, and then it never got talked about ever.
At all.
And I thought it was just completely canned, and I was very sad about it. Much to my surprise, it opened up the pre-show to the Game Awards this year with gameplay that looks fucking great. And this game is called Evil West. And it looks like someone took what the hell was that called? It was my personal game of the year last year. What the hell is it called? It starts with a D, I think. God damn it.
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about, but I can't remember the name.
Dark. God damn it! Why can't I think of it?
Something.
Damn it! Okay, when someone else is going, I'm gonna get up and go over to my game shelf and grab it so I can see the fucking name.
Disrespect to hear in the background, just I found it. Yell the name.
You know what? Hang on. I'm really quickly gonna Google Evil West because the last year when I did that, I got tons of forums of people saying, "Oh, it looks just like this," and it was the same game that I was. Dark Watch.
Oh,
yeah. Okay.
So I played Dark Watch for the first time last year and absolutely loved it, and it was my game of the year for non-2020 games. And And then at the Game Awards, Evil West was announced, and I was like, "Holy shit! What a coincidence!" Because that looks like Darkwatch, but new. And then this year we got gameplay, and it looks like someone took like Vanquish or Gungrave and mixed it with Darkwatch and Doom and a little bit of like gothic sort of what's the word for that? Like Cthulhu.
Like cosmic
Lovecraftian?
horror.
Yes, and kind of
Lovecraftian horror.
Lovecraftian. That's the word I'm looking for. And kind of mixed it all together into this Wild West fucking
Red Dead Redemption
nonsense.
shit.
And it looks so cool, and I'm so excited for it. None of these games, Shredders and Thymesia specifically, were delayed to 2021. But Instinction, Evil West, Have a Nice Death, and Star Trek Resurgence, I actually don't know if they've had confirmed release dates. I didn't write that down. But I'm very excited for all of them. I don't know what it is, like Hollow Knight, Blue Fire, Death's Door, and now Have a Nice Death. There's something about that cartoony grit that just seems to register with me as, I'm going to like this. But those are my games that I'm excited for.
Awesome.
All right. So yeah, I wrote down a few before we came in, so I guess I'll go next.
I was ready, but okay.
I was ready, but all right.
I mean, I was called out.
Want.
The wheel demanded me, and I wasn't ready. But now I am.
Chose me.
I mean, I was just trying to be helpful, but you can go if you want.
Okay, if you want to go, you can go.
Fuck you guys.
All right. So yeah, I'll go then.
Okay.
Yeah,
You sure?
Like the start of next year is actually like really good for me.
Elden Ring! I forgot to say Elden Ring.
Oh yeah.
Okay, there we go. Now I'm
There
done.
we go.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, January, Windjammers 2 is finally coming out. That's when
Windjammers.
And I've been when did that first go into development? So originally it's supposed to come out sometime in 2020. Then they scheduled it for sometime like earlier this year. They had like a demo and an open beta since then, and that's just made me more excited for it. I really love the original game. And I'm really
I remember
excited.
we played Windjammers on the channel in a one-off together, and you spent a lot of the episode gushing about how excited you were for Windjammers 2, and that was 2019.
Jeez.
Yeah, because I think it got announced right around the time that it got ported to the Switch.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like, I really like all the additions they've made. I'm glad that they actually did take the time to get it, polished and completely ready to be exactly the game they want it to be. Then in February, I kind of alluded to this earlier, but Ollie Ollie World is coming out. And yeah, basically just kind of taking that formula and putting it in, I don't know if it's like an open world, but kind of an adventure style thing. Looks like you're going to be like actually going to events. Almost like a cross between Ollie Ollie and Burnout Paradise, which is a game I really love. So I'm very excited for that.
I might be thinking of the wrong game, but didn't this one mix up? Like, isn't this one like kind of third person almost? Is it still 2D?
Yeah, it's like, I think it's like 2.5D.
Yeah.
Okay. I remember seeing it and thinking it looked very different.
Yeah, they did. They've done that with like basically every game in the series. Like Ollie Ollie is very much pixel art. The sequel goes to like sort of a flat, like kind of like what you see in like the illustrations for magazine articles. But yeah, so that's coming in February. Sometime early this year, we're supposed to be getting Neon White, which was originally set for sometime this year. But that one, I haven't played the developer's previous game, which was Donut County, but it got a lot of good attention. But yeah, this one, it's just like a fast-paced first-person shooter. That looks really cool. Then March, Triangle Strategy comes out.
Triangle strategy.
I can't believe they're sticking with that name again.
I know.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
so
so
excited for
funny.
that game. I hate that name so much.
It's like
Oh, Rob just reminded me of another one.
Oh no.
There's a remake of Dragon Quest III being done
Oh
in like
yeah,
the
Oh, yeah.
Octopath style, and that's
yeah.
oh
I'm
yeah.
very excited for that.
Honestly, that style is a big reason why I'm so excited for Triangle Strategy. I just think that looks great.
Yeah, that name though.
That
Yeah.
name.
And then the last one I have is the one that actually I'm probably the most excited about, which is when we talked about in our E3 show, Citizen Sleeper. Mostly just because
Mm,
the setting looks cool, the gameplay looks interesting.
I remember
It's
that,
from the same
yes.
developers in Other Waters, and having played in Other Waters, I really trust them to make a great game.
I still need to play those, but I really want to.
It's
I'm
in Other
Googling it.
Waters is on the Switch, and you have a Switch now.
I'm
I do.
Googling it
You can
because
do
that
it.
name is
Also on a
familiar.
computer though. Don't have it. I need to.
Oh, I remember Citizen Sleeper.
Yeah, it's like basically like it's a cyberpunk dice RPG.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, those are really the main ones I had. And now finally it's Nathan's turn.
You should have been like, now it's Holly's turn.
Yeah, Rob, I'm not ready. God damn it. No, I'm just kidding. All right. So the first one, kind of already mentioned it, but ew. I think I'm going to try to keep to ones that haven't been mentioned actually. So Evil West, Citizen Sleeper, all that. I'm also excited for. So I'm just going to close those ones off my list. So first one, already mentioned that, but hey Nintendo, look, you make really good spin-off Pokemon games, and I am an avid fan of them, and I'm expecting a fair amount out of Pokemon Legends Arceus. So don't disappoint me because I love these games, and I'd be very sad.
Oh, you're one of those Arceus people, not Arceus people.
Arceus?
Are we going into that debate now?
Yes, I'm no longer
Doesn't
allowed to be friends
matter.
with Nathan.
I feel like Holly is on my end. Of
I'm
this.
on nobody's side.
Oh.
It's just like, who
Okay, I
cares?
can care Arceus. I don't know.
Like, who cares?
I have never been able to pronounce a name in my life, so it could be Arceus for all I remember, or for all I know. Whatever your name is,
For
I'm
the
excited
record,
for you.
Nintendo themselves go
literally
back and
has
forth.
said both.
Yeah.
Like, they've had material that has said both pronunciations.
that's
so
true.
it depends on whichever one you like better.
I was just trying to be a
don't
cheeky shit.
And it's fine. You're a cheeky shit. I appreciate you.
Beautiful.
Okay. But yeah, Pokemon Legends Arceus. For you Arceus fans out there. For you Arceus stans, I guess. Oh, that's an old meme or an old one. Never mind. Yes, excited. That's what I'm trying to get at. Habada, do me good, or I will kneecap someone in the most loving way possible. But it'll still be kneecapping them. The next one on my list is one that has slowly been hyping me up for a while because the previous game in the entry has been releasing factions and leaders and all this and making me wonder, well, who the fuck could possibly be next? And then they reveal, and I know you guys don't give two shits about it, but by God, am I fucking ready for Cathay. Total War Warhammer 3. I am ready for you. Are you ready for me? Probably not. I'm an introvert video gamer who just kind of will play you to shit. I have like 1,500 hours on Total War Warhammer 2. I will probably fucking the same on you. what can I say? It's Total War Warhammer 3. It's expanding. We're actually getting the Chaos Lords and their factions. You're getting Cathay, which has never been seen before, and from basically what I've heard, Game Workshop was like, just go have fun with them. So, oh boy. They had a lot of leeway with the Vampire Coast, and those guys turned out really good, so I'm excited for a main faction to have to be made from here. I'm pumped. Yay. And we got Kislev, Russia, Canada. Snow, ice, polar bears, vodka, I guess. What's not to love? So, skipping over that, we're going to, and because I am super curious, I am wondering, they have said a lot, and they're saying the right things for what I like, and maybe Halo Infinite has just made me a little optimistic, but I think I'm ready to give them a bit of a chance and hope and pray and dream. But Starfield. Bethesda, what are you doing right now? I am curious. If you wrong me again, Fallout 76, I'm staring at you. Well, to be honest, Bethesda hasn't wronged me nearly as much as a lot of companies. So, Bethesda, I believe in you. Don't make me sad.
I'm not excited, as excited for that as I once was, is because the Outer Worlds is just so good.
The Outer Worlds is good. I haven't played the Outer Worlds.
And they're doing the Outer Worlds too.
I play a little bit. That's true, they are. I need to actually... I played like the intro of Outer Worlds, and then I got sidetracked with another game and completely forgot to go back to it. I need to go back to it because I have it, and I should play it, and I have all the DLC. I downloaded them all. So yeah, I'm probably going to play Outer Worlds, and then because people usually like to compare Obsidian and Bethesda, and they're usually probably because of the whole Fallout thing. They're like, oh well, Fallout under Bethesda, blah. Fallout under Obsidian, blah. Both of them I like for different reasons. So, I'm wondering if when I play through Outer Worlds, which is on the list, I'm actually going, ooh, Jesus Christ, I just nearly knocked my water bottle flying. Which I am hoping, well, actually I am. This is my, I swear upon my soul, let's not go that far. I swear upon my legs, I could lose those.
I swear to become a paraplegic.
That I will play the Other Worlds within the next month, and God so help me if I don't.
Take my legs.
Either take my legs, and Lord, if you are not willing to take my legs, then Tom can pick whatever game he wants, however torturous he knows it will be for me, and I will play it with him. This can be any game, Tom. Throw me the worst shit you know. I will play it. If I don't play the Outer Worlds by the end of the month. I have my hands raised in the air. You don't know, I'm praising the sun right now. This is my oath. I will play the Outer or else.
I thought you just died.
Or I will perish.
Breathed out of existence.
I think Wheezed Out of Existence is a great band name.
It is. New band name, sweet. So yeah. Other Worlds, because because I love, I think I've already said, but I love Obsidian and I love Bethesda for different reasons for what they put into their open world games. So, hey, more space fantasy opera for me. I'm happy.
Also, I forgot about Avowed. I'm excited for Avowed too.
Another good one. Yes. Gotta knock that one off. Well, no. Yeah, and then the final one. Which yet again, you guys probably don't give two shits about. Now, This part of the franchise, I'm a little more iffy on. But Warhammer 40k Dark Tide, I'm a little more iffy on the 40k part of it. I'm very much more fantasy than 40k, but Wesley loves 40k, and I do enjoy the games, like some of the games put in the 40k. Soulstorm, I'm looking at you. And I liked Vermintide, so fuck it, let's do Dark Tide. Why not? I'll put on the super or the Space Marine suit and shoot people. I think we're facing Tyranids in this one, so hell yeah, let's do it. Bug people, bug people, bug people. Yeah, that's about all I have to say about that one. Yeah, all right.
All right. So yeah, I guess lastly that leaves Holly. What games are you excited for?
Nobody.
Yeah, Tom brought up Avowed. I am excited to see Obsidian take on Bethesda's like big name brands, I guess to say. But they did such a good job with the Outer Worlds.
That's Avowed. I'm
The Outer
also excited
Worlds,
for. Sorry.
like I've just like keep reiterating, it's just not my thing because it's very well, not my thing. But yeah, I saw Avowed and I remember seeing like the reveal trailer for it and being pretty interested. To see kind of like their take on the, I guess, kind of Elder Scrolls like game is what it seems like to me. So I'd be interested because I really do like the Elder Scrolls. And of course, everyone's waiting for Elder Scrolls 6, which is a long ways away. And so if Obsidian does a good job with their version of it, it might turn out to be better, or just a way to hold off us hungry mouths waiting for the Elder Scrolls version, I suppose. Of course, I'm excited for the Breath of the Wild sequel, which has still not been named, and it's supposed to come out in 2022. Is what its last trailer showed. So, considering we don't even have a name for it, I'm thinking it's probably going to be in the later half of 2022. But I would like to see just more stuff surrounding it. Just some more information so that us fans can do some more speculation and dissecting and all the things that we like to do when we get Zelda trailers. And I also want to see stuff about Dragon Age 4.
Yes.
Because I've been following I watch a YouTuber. He does pretty much exclusively Dragon Age content, and he does a lot of like developer interviews and stuff like that. His YouTube name is Jackdaw. If you haven't watched some of his stuff and you're a big Dragon Age fan, I would definitely watch some of his stuff because he's been following the production of Dragon Age 4 since it was in like in its conception, since it was in like pre-production and everything like that. And he like dissects all like the concept arts that they kind of feed to us throughout the year and stuff like that. So yeah, if you're excited for the next Dragon Age, I definitely look at his content. But yeah, no, I want to see something because, like I said, we've gotten a lot of concept art. We've gotten some kind of like faction teasers. Of course, we've had a few teaser trailers. But one of the I'm just I want to see something, maybe just something in game, just a little tidbit, because I am so concerned about this project. I am so concerned.
No, same.
There has been so many like departures from BioWare's team, especially for in the Dragon Age department, that it's very, very scary. And
Yeah.
like we started off this year with such good news regarding it because we started this year off by EA announcing that they were going to shift their focus from multiplayer onto a single player experience because of the success of the Mass Effect Legendary Edition. Because like they were already gonna fuck this up for us, and they had pretty much planned to have Dragon Age mostly focused on multiplayer. And I was like,
Mhm.
do you even know what this like BioWare is about? Like, do you even know what they do? Well,
They
I mean,
don't.
EA made them make Avowed, so no.
it made them make what?
Or sorry, I said Avowed. Anthem.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, okay, because of Anthem's rocky history and launch and success, and then the Mass Effect Legendary Edition, that made EA go, huh, well, maybe you guys just do better when you're just left the fuck alone. So
Who would have fucking thought?
so they did redirect back to a single player experience. But even after that pivot point, there was still some major departures within the team, and they are still continuously losing people. And some people who've been with the team for a long time, and people who are in very important positions. Because I think the last departure lost our creative director, and a new one has not yet been named. So it's like, so
A little sketchy.
for me, I would just love to have a bit of peace of mind to see where the project, at least see something of it, to maybe set some of my concerns at ease, to see like at least what the game looks like, give me some idea of maybe just a teeny tiny morsel of gameplay, and even just another teaser trailer. Even just the teaser trailer, I would just like to see that, just to see where they are right now. Because I know it is most likely not going to be a 2022 release. I'm thinking it's a 2023 release based on the information that I've been given. And which I think is more than reasonable, because obviously, like we said about other games, like we said about Halo, we want to give our favorite games time to develop, because we don't want our developers to rush games out and then make them a clunky garbage pile of disaster. Especially when they've had so many creative pivotal shifts, because they've changed direction with this one project so many different times that there's probably a lot of stuff that's a tangled mess, and which sucks. So obviously they want it. I hope they take as much time as they need and don't get forced into a release date just because they either said it or EA wants them to meet some sort of stupid deadline. So I hope they're given the time that they need. But yes, I would just like to see something to put my heart at ease, because I am really looking forward to this project, and I've been following it for a long time. So I do want to see more of that. I am also excited for Pokemon Legends.
Yeah.
I think pretty much everybody who has played a Pokemon game is at least excited or interested in some shape or form, just because it's the Breath of the Wild of Pokemon. And I know a lot of people throw that name around a lot, and it's what I mean is not what I mean when I say that is not that, oh, it's a Breath of the Wild clone. What I say is it's deviating so much from the formula, because that's what Breath of the Wild did with like the Zelda formula. It completely deviated from it and kind of like threw it out the window and just did its own thing.
Right.
And I think that's definitely what Legends is doing. And even though it still does look like visually it looks like Breath of the Wild.
Pokemon.
So I get why people make that comparison, but I don't see it as it being a clone. I just see it as it's pivoting from its previous formula that it has followed thus far, which I think is a healthy way for games to evolve, especially franchises that have been so long in the game as like Pokemon and Zelda and Mario and
Yeah.
all these Nintendo titles, I guess.
I'm one of those people that did like Breath of the Wild, but I can understand why it's good for the series to stretch its legs and actually try that out.
And yeah, and I also see why people didn't like it because it's so different from what we're used to seeing from a Zelda game. So I can understand why that people didn't like that, and so I can understand going into Legends why maybe some people aren't going to like Legends because it's probably not going to be like a traditional Pokemon game. So if that's what you walk into expecting, then you're already going to be disappointed because they're doing something, completely different. They're kind of going off of the track, kind of throwing away the formula a little bit here. So we just have to always walk into these kinds of things with an open mind because we want developers to stretch their legs and be creative and be experimentative and not shit on their imagination and innovation and stuff like that. So
I probably would like Breath of the Wild a lot more. My fucking boomerang wouldn't break every 5 times I used it.
Yeah, that's
like,
another. That's
my
one thing
only
that people
peeve
are
with the
hoping.
game.
That's one thing people are hoping for the sequel is crafting. Because like
if they did that, I would probably love the game so much more. I loved playing it, but I was like, oh, I just want to use this basic sword. Oh, never mind.
Yeah, because like to me, the weapon durability thing makes much more sense if you have crafting. So I think that was something that was missing from Breath of the Wild that I think they should implement in Breath of the Wild too, if they continue to bring back the weapon durability thing. Because I know that was a big controversy with a lot of players. Some people, I feel that either people hate it or they tolerate it. I don't know if there's any group of people that are like, I love this mechanic. It just tickles my fancy.
I am.
Well, I guess I guess so. Yeah,
yeah, I like it
because like I like it, but I do think that I would prefer it if there was a crafting element as well. Like if you if you found a favorite weapon of yours, you're like, oh shit, I would like that weapon again. You don't have to scour the entire landscape to find the same weapon in a hidden box somewhere. You could collect the materials to be able to craft it again.
Yeah, give me like the Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, like weapon durability, but you can fix your shit.
Yeah, because I like the weapon durability for a combat thing because it makes you think on your feet a little bit more when you break a weapon in the middle of combat, right? Like it makes you not rely on one piece of equipment all the time. It makes you more flexible when it comes to certain combat situations. So like I do like it for that, but yeah, I do agree with the argument that it does make a bit more sense if you can just craft the weapons and then you don't have to go picking and searching for weapons everywhere else. Because I find that I hoard all of my good weapons because I don't want them to break in intense situations, kind of thing, right?
Yeah, and then you don't use them. And it's like,
but anyway, I digress.
I think the difference for me is I think of it as like guns in Halo. I'm out of ammo, grab a new one.
Yeah, no, it's the same concept. But I know, but yeah, that's just a complaint that I've heard from a lot of players, and it's just a thing that some people would like to see it either addressed or improved upon in the sequel. So, what else am I excited for? I remember there was a Fable announced. I would like to see something about that.
Oh yeah, they did announce
They announced a new Fable, which was
although I don't think that's going to be out for a while yet.
No, I don't think
more
so
like
either,
hey, we're doing a Fable, not a
it's one of those things where it's just nice to see it acknowledged every now and again, just to be reminded that we're still working on it.
Yeah,
because like then we end up in the Metroid Prime. There you go, Metroid Prime 4 is the one to look forward to. But then we end up like Metroid Prime 4, where we're waiting and waiting and waiting, and then we don't know what's going on with it until they tell us, oh, it's either canceled or it's been rehashed or restarted or whatever.
19 years.
Wait another 19 years for a Metroid game. I just get so nervous when like games just go radio silent because then you never know if they're ever going to show up again.
Yeah,
because it's happened. It happens all the time where a game gets a CG trailer announcement, and then it never sees the light of day, like ever, because like something fucking happened to it, and they're just like, nah, we're just not gonna do it. The new Sonic game looks interesting.
Oh yeah, Sonic open world. That's
Yeah,
gonna be interesting.
another
More about
open
that.
world, another open world Breath of the Wild clone.
Yeah.
Fuck. I mean, a lot of people are like comparing it to Shadow of the Colossus,
Oh,
which is weird. Yeah, I know.
we
I
didn't
was
even
like,
Alright.
they're like, it's like Breath of the Wild and Shadow of the Colossus with like Sonic the Hedgehog, and I was like,
But there
what?
wasn't a Colossus.
I don't. Yeah, but like, I don't know why they're giving a comparison. I guess he was like climbing something. I don't fucking know. But what I will say is, I said it to Tom when we saw the trailer. I was like, you know what this looks a lot like? It looks exactly like the trailer for the announcement of Sonic 06.
It does kind
Like
of.
exactly. Like it's scary. Like I looked at it and I was like, this is just Sonic 06. So we'll see what happens with that. It's just it was
Interesting point.
Very sus. Yeah, I guess that's all I can think of at the top of my head. But I guess the big ones I'm I'm really looking forward to is Zelda and Dragon Age. Those are my big wishes.
Yes.
All right. So yeah, that was our big end of the year special.
Boop, boop.
If you have a game that you wanted to talk about that we didn't, leave it in the comments. Whether it's a game that you enjoyed this year or one that you're excited for next year. Tell us we're idiots for liking games that we like, and that we're fools for not liking the games that you do.
Yep.
Because this is YouTube.
And everyone hates everybody.
And this video is about 10 minutes-ish shy of being 3 hours.
Jesus.
So I will once again attempt to upload it at 9 p.m. on New Year's Eve. So if you've listened to this, get ready for 2022. Happy New Year.
Hey, Happy New Year.
Hope
Let's
it's
hope
better
it's
than
fucking
this year.
better.
I just saw a little post the other day that made me stop and think. It was just a little post that was just like, when you realize that 2016 never got better, it's just been a downhill.
Oh yeah, that was the peak. That was the peak.
Yeah, it was like, oh yeah, that was just kind of like the top, and then we just been going down since.
Snowballing, yeah. Fuck me, Jesus Christ.
Anyway, Happy New Year.
Hey!
Hopefully it's
no
better.
cynicism here.
Well, I'm full of cynicism. I'm in the wrong place.
We're just a bunch of old fogies and we're grumpy. That's just what we do.
I'm so grumpy. Oh my god.
All right. Try not to get too sad and keep watching the channel. Bye.
Fight off the existential dread, everybody. See you next year. Do. Boom.